Thank you so much. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're joining us from. You're welcome to the Analytics Cybersecurity Conference themed Elevating Black Excellence in Cybersecurity. My name is Priscilla, and I'll be your host for today's session. Okay, just a mic check, and just to also feel the pulse of the attendees. Okay, if you can hear me clearly, please just leave a one in the chat. If you can hear me, I'm audible and it's clear enough for you, please leave a one in the chat. All right. Thank you, Lois. Thank you, Olabusoye. Thank you, Bashirat. Thank you, Emmanuel. Okay. So let's get right into the business of the day. Welcome, everybody. I'm super, super excited to have you join this cybersecurity conference. Now, the goal of this conference is to spotlight the achievements of Black professionals in cybersecurity, as well as inspire the next generation of cyber experts. So I'm assuming everybody here in this call right now is interested in cybersecurity. So if you know what cybersecurity is, could you just leave a yes in the chat? Because we have a goal for the session, okay? And I'd like to know if we're speaking to complete newbies or people that have idea or of cybersecurity. So if you know what cybersecurity is, please leave a yes in the chat. Okay, I'm seeing a couple of yeses. And that's super, super interesting. It means we are going to be having a really fantastic session. Okay, I can also see no. Morak is leaving a 2, so I'm assuming 2 means you are in between or something. But yes, welcome everybody to the cybersecurity conference. And like I said, the aim of this conference is actually to inspire the next generation of cyber experts. Okay, we have curated top professionals in the industry, and you'll be listening to them speak. All right. Through this session, you're going to learn what cybersecurity is for those of us that are newbies. How you can get started in cybersecurity, what your career progression should look like, how you can navigate challenges as well. Okay, we believe the resource person's expertise and insights will be invaluable to everybody in this call. So one important thing that I want you to do while you're on today's call is just participate actively. Okay, you can participate by listening. Okay, you can also participate by answering questions in the chat or even dropping questions yourself. So we're going to get right into this session. Okay, I'll share my slide. I'm sharing that now. As soon as you can see my slide, you could just leave a yes in the chat. Okay, as soon as you can see my slide, kindly leave a yes in the chat. So I'm sharing this now, and I don't know if everybody can see my slide just yet, but Chukwemeka, can you see my slide? All right.
Yes.
Thank you. So yes, we're going to get into the meat of the day. And like you already know, this conference is brought to you by Analytics. So who is Analytics? What do they even do? How are they holding a cybersecurity conference? Okay. So Analytics is a leading educational technology company with a focus in helping Africans and people of the Black community transition into the tech ecosystem seamlessly. We provide our participants, with a well-structured and best-in-class training, and this is to ensure that you get value for your resources and time spent with us. We've been doing this for quite a while, and over the last 4 years, we've been able to help over 2,000 plus people transition from the classroom into their first tech jobs, and I can confidently say that if you're looking to get started in cybersecurity, which is why we're here, and if you can see my slide, you should see other technology sectors such as data analytics, business analysis, and the rest. We are your best bet. All right. So after this, I'm going to outline the flow of the session, the agenda of the session. But before doing that, I'd like you to also meet myself and as well as the moderator for today's session. So my name is Priscilla, and like I earlier mentioned, I'll be your host for today. So, who is Priscilla? Priscilla is a passionate educator and tech enthusiast with experience coding across the blockchain technology and data analytics. I've onboarded and helped over 500 people transition into tech successfully. All right, then we have the moderator for today's session, which is Chukwuemeka. Chukwuemeka is a technology consultant with nearly a decade of expertise in governance, risk, and compliance, as well as strategic consulting. Is currently the CEO of Tenalytics, and he has guided over 1,000 individuals with no prior tech background into successful technology careers, making sure that they secure their first jobs. He has worked across the financial services, capital markets, hospitality, and the edtech sector. So that's who Chukwuemeka is, and that's who myself is. So I'm one thing that I get really excited about virtual sessions like this, and you know why? Because I get to be in the same space as a lot of people all over the globe. Okay, I'm here in my space, and I'm connecting with people from US, people from Canada, mention anywhere in the world. All right, and that's one thing that really gets me excited about sessions like this. Now, what would we be doing today? Okay, you've come to the cybersecurity conference. What should you expect? What is the agenda for this session? The first thing we'll be doing today, the first thing we'll be having is we'll be listening to the keynote speaker give the keynote address. So we have a keynote speaker, and the theme for this address is ensuring that you have an idea of how you can excel as a Black person in the world of cybersecurity. So after that, we'd have the panel session. All right. The panel session is themed See Yourself in Cyber. Then you would also get to learn. Remember, I earlier mentioned that this session is going to help you learn what cybersecurity is, how you can navigate into getting into cybersecurity, what your career progression should look like, as well as a host of other things. So after our panel session, you get to learn how to get started in the world of cybersecurity, and then you would also get to listen to success stories that we've had as a company, as well as our offer to you today. Okay, so that being said, we're going to delve right into the keynote speaker for today, and I guess she's already here yet. I'm just going to confirm that. Hello, Helen. Are you here already? I'm just going to, I guess Helen is here, and I'm making you a co-host so that we can hear you. So I just like to confirm that you can hear me and you're here.
Oh yes, I was trying to unmute my mic, but thank you for being proactive on
All
that.
right, thank you. All right, thank you. So guys, it's not every day that we get to hear from someone so passionate and dedicated to making a difference. Our keynote speaker is none other than Helen Oluyemi. And you should already be seeing that in your screen. I'll just give a brief intro of who Helen is, and what she does. Before that, I'd like to know if you can still see my screen. Hello, Chukwuemeka, can you see my screen?
Not at the moment.
Okay. How about now? Can you see my screen now?
Yes, it's back up. It's up.
Okay. All right. So I don't know. So I'm trying to introduce Helen, and doesn't look like I can move, but then I would share my screen again. All right. I think this is up now. So our keynote speaker for today is Helen Oluyemi, and Helen is a distinguished cybersecurity professional and the information security manager at Pollinate UK. With a proven track record in the financial and telecom sector, her expertise in threat hunting, cloud security, and incident response has been instrumental in safeguarding critical infrastructure. As a certified CISM and ISO 27001 lead implementer, she's a champion of robust security frameworks, a passionate advocate for diversity and inclusion in cybersecurity, and she's dedicated to elevating Black excellence in the industry. Helen's insights and experiences will inspire and empower everyone on this call to reach new heights in your cybersecurity careers. So, with a virtual standing ovation, I'm going to welcome Helen into the stage, and I'm going to give her the audience now. Hello, Helen. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank
All
you,
right. Thank
Cecilia.
you. You're very welcome. You have the
Yeah.
floor.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Where do I start from? Priscilla, thank you for that beautiful introduction, and your beautiful smile just made me really smile actually. And so I think I'm sure everyone is smiling right now, even though I can't see them, because Priscilla just sets that notion that we should all smile today. Um, so we're not going to war. Yeah, we're not going to
Yes,
war. Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay, let me see. Let me share my screen. Do. Okay, let me share my screen. One moment, please. Let me know if you can, see my screen.
Yes, Helene, I can see your screen.
Is it in um
It's in slide one, elevate Black excellence in cybersecurity.
okay. Then what can you say again? Can you see my other like the all other slides or just that slide one alone?
I can see the other slides,
Okay, yeah,
the agenda,
the agenda.
who am
Okay.
I?
So that means it's not like a full screen. So I want to make it more or less like a full. Okay, let me just start from scratch. I think this is much more better.
Yes, it's the full screen now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's great now. Okay, thank you, Priscilla, for that. Teamwork. I think it's really important. We can never work in isolation, and it's part of why it's part of one tip that I might actually even also mention during the um topic today, like how do we elevate our Black excellence in cybersecurity. How many minutes do I have, if I may ask, Priscilla?
Yes, please. Helen, you have 20 minutes, so
15,
you have 20
or
minutes to
20 minutes.
sit.
Okay, maybe once it's
Yes.
like 10 minutes in, you can just, let me know.
Yeah.
Okay, I also check my watch. Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you everyone for joining the call this evening. Elevate Black excellence in cybersecurity. To be very honest, oh God, I can't remember his name. When he reached out to me, and in my mind, I was like, okay, what do I really need to talk about in this situation? Because it's not about, oh, okay, where if I want to start a career in cybersecurity, where do I get started, or maybe talk about my story or my experience. I'm not so sure. But I think we have where we talk about how to get to cybersecurity during the panel session. So I might not really dwell much on my story in this situation. I just want to just go straight to the point, you know, around elevating Black excellence in cybersecurity. Uh, okay. So the agenda for today, of course, I will introduce myself. I know that Priscilla has done that for, yeah, let's say from the horse's mouth. I will also introduce myself. And then I'm going to talk about the current states of Black excellence in cybersecurity. This morning slash yesterday slash this morning when I was preparing this, I was like, let me kind of prepare like a start and see how many percent of Africans that are in the cybersecurity workspace in Canada, UK, US, and Africa generally. Hmm. Don't worry, I will tell you what I find out there in my next few slides. And then I'm going to talk about barriers that have historically limited Black participation in the field. Like, what exactly was the root cause? Why do we have that few number of percentage of people in the Black community in cybersecurity or even in the tech ecosystem? So you're just going to mention like points around that. And then lastly, I'm going to talk about the actionable step to elevate Black excellence, which is the key notes for today, right? And then I will give you room for questions and answers. And hopefully I'm able to answer all the questions. If not, Priscilla is there to help me and Chukwemeka. So yeah, teamwork. So no worries. Um, I open my command prompt and I'm asking myself, who am I today? My name is Helen Oluyemi. Yeah, I'm a Yoruba girl. I'm a Nigerian. Of course, you can see from my accent. Background information. Yeah, currently an information security manager. Not sure what my title would be in the future, but let's leave title aside. I'm into cybersecurity. That's one key thing, because tomorrow I might be a senior security engineer. I might be an analyst, whichever one, right? Depending on the job market, depending on the pay, depending on, what you love to do and your next career plan, or an architect, I don't know. And I have 8 years of industry work experience in cybersecurity industry. I guess I'm one of the luckiest people on earth. Yeah, I studied computer engineering in school. However, cybersecurity wasn't like one thing I had in mind to study, really. To do as a profession. Like, I know that we all know, as Nigerians or as African, after school, you just want to work and not maybe go back home. Any job that kind of comes your way, you just want to do it, right? And I guess because I studied computer engineering, I was all over looking for IT related role, and yeah, cybersecurity came my way. And I'm like, "Okay, let's give it a try and see if that would make sense. And if yes, we'll go deep into it." And I think I loved it. And do I see myself living cybersecurity? As at today, no. Tomorrow, no. I don't know what will happen in the next few years, yeah, but it's been a wonderful journey. The last 8 years has been a wonderful journey for me. Outside 9 to 5, what do I do? Yeah, I'm not just a 9 to 5 person. I love 9 to 5. I love the fact that I think what keeps me up every day is I see myself, the ability to solve a problem. Like, I'm like, today I'm going to solve a problem today. That kind of thing keeps me up. And that is what cybersecurity is all about. It's never like a routine work. You hardly see like a routine work, really. Yeah, we have processes in place and this and that, but then the threat landscape is forever changing, right? There was a time when, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, I'm sure we all heard about the CrowdStrike issue. You know, some people's blood kind of gets, or some people had like high blood pressure. And there was an open SSH issue like early in July as well. A lot of things that can just kind of keeps your blood pumping. And I think I love that. But don't worry, that will not give you an attack anyway. I think that will just kind of refresh your brain and makes your brain really agile. By the time you're even 60 years old or 70 years old, you will still feel like a 20-year-old, because you keep sharpening your brain. It's like a fitness journey for your brain. That's cybersecurity field. I don't know about other industry. I'm speaking for cybersecurity. Cybersecurity voice, a mentor. Yeah, outside 9 to 5. I love to impact knowledge into young minds through technology, cybersecurity to be specific. And I think it's solely because of my experience when I first joined the profession, right? And yeah, that made me really, um put myself out there as a mentor or as a volunteer. And I love to spend time with my family. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I have a beautiful daughter, and I have an handsome husband as well, very supportive. My life isn't complete without them, really. I'm a lover girl, so just call me that lover girl. Yeah. If you like, I'm a lover girl. Yeah. Weird thing about me is I can't swim. I think, yeah, I think this school, like, I can't swim. Might be for most Africans, really. I think it's an African thing. Um, I guess because when I moved to the UK 4 years ago, I realized that everybody can swim. Like, in my organization, they all can swim. And I realized, I think I love to swim. And then like, let's go for an holiday, and then you swim. And like, oh no, when I go for holiday, the hotel has like a swimming pool and the lights, but I will never use it. I'll just sit by the poolside and put my leg. I'm like, no, this is not life. I need to learn how to swim, right? And this year, I made like a New Year resolution. I said, okay, Ellen, you need to learn how to swim. And I started in January. And to be very honest, it's one of the difficult things I've ever had to do personally. I don't know for us on the call here. And 4 months into learning how to swim, in my mind, like, I'll just give up. This is not for me. But then I asked myself, okay, let me give myself the whole of the year and see if I would really pick it up. And luckily for me, sometimes in June, I think I kind of gained my confidence, and yeah, I'll give myself a rating of 6/10 now. Although I'm not planning to, you know, learn how to swim for the Olympics. So maybe I can do that, and we can at least get one Nigerian that would, win the Olympic in the by 2025 or the next Olympic, yeah, maybe that would be like a career that I might consider. I'm just thinking about Priscilla might, give me like an idea on that. Yeah, don't mind me. Certifications. Oh god, certification. CSSP system, yeah, series, ISO, lot of certification actually. Don't mind me. I think another thing that you should know about me is I love to read. I'm a bookworm, back then in school. So I finished from Lautech, the best university in Nigeria. If you like, argue with your keyboard. Best university in Nigeria, Ladoke, Akintola University of Technology. Study computer engineering, finished with the first class. Best graduate student in my department. People used to call me bookworm. They were like, I'm Omola Toro, will I be? Like, okay, we asked for a child, but we gave birth to a book, that kind of a thing. That's the literal meaning in English. Yeah, let's call myself a bookworm. Maybe. Let me say I love money now. I'm in love with money, I'm in love with my family. Maybe no longer a bookworm. I don't know. Yeah, so that's an introduction. The state of Black excellence in cybersecurity. Book. You're going to that. Sorry, that's my toddler distracting me. State of Black excellence in cybersecurity. So from the current landscape, like I mentioned earlier, so I did like a quick Google search. I mean, UK, Canada, and US. And also Africa. I did for Nigeria. I couldn't find any. Let me just do Africa, And these are the reports. In the UK, this is a report by SSC, which is National Cybersecurity Center, and KPMG. They found out that only 3%, I mean 3/100, that's total failure, of UK cybersecurity force are from Black, Asian, or minority background. Imagine 3%, not just Black alone. We have Black, Asian. That means maybe 0.5% or 0.2%, Black skin women, people of color, Black, Nigerians, Africans, and cybersecurity in the UK. And in Canada, they said they have 2.6% of the tech workforce. Remember, this is workforce, and in which cybersecurity is like a subordinate out of this tech works force, and which shows the average is, I mean, it's actually really, really low, right? And then in the United States, yeah, of course, I expected like a very high volume because of the population in the United States. But at the same time, it's still like 9%. Yeah, very bad. I wouldn't say no bad. I mean, very bad. I am sure if I kind of go back in time, like 10 years ago, then it's be like minus. If there's something like minus something percent, or maybe 0.001%. I think a lot of initiative, we have a lot of initiative nowadays that made it you know, made us have like 9% or 2.6% or 3%. And Africa, I tried to, look out for statistics. I checked everywhere. ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, mention the AI tools, nothing. And I was like, interesting. And according to the IC2, they said African faces a shortage of over 100,000 cybersecurity professionals. That's huge, right? And it shows that we still need to do a lot of work. And even for the cybersecurity professionals, people that are already in cybersecurity, how do we elevate ourselves to do more things, like to build things? I'm going to talk about that. Yeah, let me just leave it that way and go to my next slide. My next slide, barriers that have historically limited Black participation in the field. This is where my story would begin. I'm going to tell you a story about myself. my experience, and I'm just going to, identify them based on all this point. Don't mind me, my slide is not really nice. So sorry about that. Yeah, I will improve on that in the future, maybe when I'm 60 years old. Don't mind me. Limited exposure to cybersecurity. So just like I said, I think I mentioned earlier, I studied computer engineering and I graduated 2015 ASU strike, 2014, but I graduated in 2015. And back then in school, so let's do like a throwback. Let's rewind. Yeah. I studied computer engineering not because I chose computer engineering. I think some of us will understand. I actually wanted to study nursing or biochemistry. However, admission, I got computer engineering. And then in Lautech back then, after your first year, you could actually, move into the medical school or just switch department or engineering and whatever. So what I told my parents then was like, okay, I'm not sure I'm going to do computer engineering. I think I'll still just, switch to a medical school like nursing or biochemistry. But then they said, okay, if you have like a good GPA, good grade, that would make your switching really easier. So I think that really made me like have like a good start in terms of like GPA or CGPA. And I think then I had like a CGPA of 4.33. Yeah, 4.33, not like a first class. 4.33 in my 100 level. By the time of moving or switching to medical school, during my set, they didn't allow anyone to move to medical school. So that means you can either move to any other departments, engineering, accounting, biochemistry, and like, but you can't go to nursing, medical lab, or medicine. I told myself, yeah, if I'm not in nursing, then there's no point. So I decided to stay put in cybersecurity. And then my idea then in 2010, 2009, 2010 was that computer engineering, oh my God, at the end of the day, I hope I don't end up in computer village repairing laptops of Windows or phones for people, because a computer engineer, that kind of a thing. And then I think I got more insight into many things that with your computer engineering degree, what you can do with it. And then in my 200 level, I enrolled into like, there's this institute in Ogbomoso there, and I think they're everywhere in Lagos, Ibadan, SQI Institute. So they do a lot of, just like 10 analytics. And then in my 200 level, I did, web programming. And then 300 level, I moved to networking. I did a lot of training and certification, like networking, web programming, Oracle database, OCA, OCA and OCP. I had the certification. I did the training, And it's just because I feel that, okay, let me just get myself job ready, because I don't want to end up carrying computer in computer village. I don't have the strength. In fact, I wasn't really Lagosian. So where do I even stay in Lagos? How do I even, that kind of it? Like I need like a proper job. And after graduation, yeah, I was just doing my NYC. I was just applying to jobs, different jobs, software engineering, IT admin, this and that and that. And when I got this job in 2016 with an ISP provider company, 21st Century, so they were recruiting graduate trainees in data center. And they said, okay, we'll give you an offer as an IT security engineer. And I was happy, really. I didn't know what security engineer was all about. I was just happy that at least pay my salary. In fact, they will give you accommodation in Lekki Phase 1, Admiralty. We're like, oh, nice. And then I called my parents, oh, I'm going to move to Lagos. I got a security role. I think the way I defined it, so I got a security job. And I remember my mom like, security. In their head, they thought, oh, that's a police officer role, right? And even with myself, I'm not sure I understand what the role really entails, to be very honest. I didn't do research on that. All I needed is just give me my salary every now and then, and yeah, I can enjoy my life as a single lady, or yeah. So, and I think cybersecurity became a thing half a decade and a half ago, to be very honest. And I'm sure for everyone on the call, especially Black people that lived in Nigeria or Africa generally. I'm sure remember those days that if you want to make like transaction in the bank, you have to go to the bank, fill in that 3 slip letter before you can actually make a transaction. Or if you want to withdraw, you have to go to the counter to withdraw your money. And then maybe gradually ATM became a thing. But there is nothing like an online banking app, or now that we now download those apps on our phone. And so cybersecurity was not like really needed for those banks as long as there is internet services within the bank, within the branch. In fact, sometimes if you transfer money from branch A to branch C, it might take like 24 hours before branch C kind of gets credited, you know. So cybersecurity was like a thing. And I'm sure that I think yeah, in fact, all this fintech company that are here now wasn't like a thing. So I think most Nigerians or most Africa, we see cybersecurity as, you know, a bad guy. I think that was why I have this particular picture here. A bad guy, or it's just really related to an hacker alone, an hacker that just does bad thing. Yeah, maybe we could call people that we used to call Yahoo Yahoo then. Maybe we can call them like a bad guy or an attacker. I don't know. But then remember when you need to even go to when we need to even browse the internet, you have to go to cafe and then you have to buy like minutes and then like so everything is just like within locality, right? Within now we were not exposed except for Black people that maybe probably lived in the US or in the developed country. But for Africans, we were not really exposed. So we're not exposed to cybersecurity. And by the time we got exposed to cybersecurity, it's really like the cyber attack threat landscape was now really, really a thing in the developed world. And then I think banks start embracing cybersecurity when, that there is like a cloud adoption. And then when we have like fintech, this startup fintech coming up, and then cyber attack or people moving money from this and that was now like becoming like, a thing for Nigerians or for Africans. And so I would say, in fact, a lot of people that would say they have like 30 years experience about security, if you look at their profile, I mean, for Africans, they might have started like a network engineer or IT admin or a system admin, and not like a cyber security itself. And which that kind of bring me to my second point on mentorship and networking gaps. And imagine I said I got a job in 2016 December as a cybersecurity engineer, and all I could tell my friend, my parents, my family, or whoever cares to know why I'm living in Lagos, is that I'm a security personnel. And to them, it's like you're a police officer. I really don't have someone who I could actually look up to, or someone that could be like a mentor to me. And yeah, when I was even checking LinkedIn around, okay, who could I talk to? Like maybe you're a cybersecurity person. They're mostly guys. And as a woman, yeah, it's quite, maybe it's better now, but then you really want a woman to look up to and not even a guy to look up to then. So it's the mentorship landscape then was not as great as it is now, or as it will be in the future, right? And then so mentorship was, I would call it like not too great. I won't call it crap, not too great. And the networking gaps too, of course, because there is no mentor, there is no one to talk to. The networking gaps is there. And I remember, I'm not trying to, yeah, I remember then I used to attend conferences, like computer science conferences. We just discuss publications and the like, and there is really nothing enthusiastic about it. You just pay money, you just want to eat jollof rice and chicken and snap picture, and that's all. And then people will present. It's mostly for lecturers or people within their institution. They just present their papers and everything. And there's really not like hands-on or practical in terms of, getting your hands dirty. And also, one key thing is the systematic bias and discrimination. When I say systematic bias in this case would be that we're not even exposed. Why wouldn't there be like a bias? I remember when I joined um my organization, my first organization, I think it was just myself and one other female colleague, and every other person were like, male. We all did cybersecurity together, but even for female, it just became like, oh God, there's always like this like imposter syndrome and the likes. And even in the UK, when I relocated in the UK in 2020 October, I thought within myself, and 20th October, I already had 4 years plus cybersecurity experience. Yeah, 4 years. Yeah, 2020. So 4 years. And then, applying to jobs, I remember that when I see like a particular salary, maybe in the job description, they said, oh, they're going to pay maybe 60K, 70K pounds. I would not apply for that kind of a job because I feel like, can you give me like a cybersecurity that is like 20K or 30K? Because I know that if I should apply for a 70K or 60K or 80K or 90K kind of job, like in pounds, I might not even get an interview, that kind of a thing, which is like an imposter syndrome. But then I guess I was just lucky. Let me put it lucky. There was this job I applied to, my first job in the UK. I applied. I saw the amount they were supposed to pay, and I clicked on the link several times, but I could not submit it because I thought within my mind, no, this is beyond what I should be earning as a Nigerian. And one Monday, when we finally settled in, so I've been applying to jobs since September 2021. I knew that I would be coming to the UK. But this particular job, a week before we traveled, it was just on my LinkedIn. I kept refreshing and I didn't apply. But when I got into the UK October 4, I clicked on the link. Let me just apply. Let me just click. Let me just click on yes. And I clicked on the link and I just clicked on submit. And a few hours after, the HR called me. And the HR said, oh, Helen, I realized that you've been on this page in the last few days, but you did not submit it. I don't know how they were able to get that traffic anyway. And why I said this, I could not say because of the salary. I said, oh yeah, because I just moved to the UK yesterday and I thought to apply when I have a UK number. But that was not the reason. The reason was because I thought because it's an experience role and because the salary is really, really huge, I could not. And then, we got talking and then she asked, okay, so what's your salary expectation? So e.g., maybe salary was 70 to 90K on the JD. I saw it on the job description or the job advert. And I told this lady, I said, 55K. you know, like, oh, 55K. And okay. And then we just, did the interview. And I was like, oh, yeah, they called me back. And then the first interview went well. The second interview went well. Third interview went well. And at the end of there was an offer. And she said, okay, you said 55K, but then we are going to offer you 60K. And in my mind, I was like, okay, that kind of imposter syndrome, like, oh, I should not be earning this much in cybersecurity. That was as far back as 2020, right? Or because I'm Nigerian. And yeah, even though I had like 4 years of experience with certifications, but I still did not believe in myself. And I think it's as a result of, feeling like you are not good enough to work with these guys, to work with these white people. And okay, if I'm going to talk about my career experience, my career journey, it's been beautiful. And the rest is history. I got the job and the interview was just within 2 weeks. So I got to UK October 4. I got my offer October 16 or 15. And then she said, okay, you can resume in November so you can relax and know the country, that kind of a thing. But then the imposter syndrome was there. I felt, oh, I'm not a guy. I'm a woman of color. I'm this, I'm that. And that kind of also led me to lack of representation and visibility. Because on a normal day, if I see that kind of job, like imagine me bypassing those kind of opportunities because I thought, oh, if you are not going to pay me 30 to 40K, then I cannot offer you what you need. I'm not sure I'm good enough to offer you. I'm not sure I'm good enough to deserve a 70K or 80K or a 90K salary or even, that kind of a thing. And imagine if there has been like a lot of, Black people represented within the UK at the time, or even in the US or Canada, and maybe like visibility. I think that would have made me feel like, okay, I can do this, right? And I think it's one thing that is kind of affecting, Black people in the field. And the lack of representation here also would be that imagine if when you did the interview, you see a Black person interviewing you, maybe as an head of information security or CISO or whatever, but they're all bunch of white guys, you know. And then maybe there's no Black person in this department. And when I got, I'm even still with the organization, Fantastic Pollinate, I realized I was the only Black. Yeah, let's even forget the only female or male is a thing, but I think, yeah, things are really moving fast now. You can start having females in cybersecurity. But the lack of representation actually it's one key thing that also kind of affects, Black participation in the field. And I think economic barrier too. Economic barrier, yes, we all know, and it's not better now. I mean, it's still almost the same, but we hope
Hello,
for a
Ellen.
better. Okay.
Yes, pardon the interruption. I wanted to let you know that you have about 10 minutes left.
Oh yeah, good. This just like second to my slide. So yeah, I think I'm on time. Thank you, Priscilla. Okay, so economic barrier was also like a thing for Africans, right? And a lot of things. Look, an example would be, I remember when I was writing my Security Plus and CSIM back then in Nigeria, I was lucky enough that the company I worked with then, which is Fidelity Bank, whenever you write an exam and pass it, they refund your money. And in fact, the current exchange rate wasn't like a big deal. I remember my Security Plus I did for 80K. Fidelity Bank refunded the money. I did my CEH for around, is it 200,000 then? Once you pass, they refund the money. Even my first organization, I guess like I said, I'm just the luckiest person on earth, really. My organization then trained me on ISO 27001, 20,000 and free of charge, right? And I guess because they 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 realize the importance of cybersecurity in the workforce. I'm going to talk more about that, but let me just move to my next slide because of the 10 minutes and just for like 10 minutes. So, I've talked about different challenges, that we face as a Black person, economic challenges, imposter syndrome, lack of representative in the department. In fact, um, we don't even know about cybersecurity. Imagine me studying computer engineering. I'm not sure I did any cybersecurity related course in my in Lautech then. Yeah, it was just, Pascal, C++, those kind of things, right? MATLAB. But I do not even know about the three goals of cybersecurity, CIA, confidential integrity and availability in school after 5 years. Nah, there was nothing like that as a computer engineering student. But now, professional develop. So let me talk about the actionable steps. I'm not saying that we don't have all these. We have some of these, and this particular slide is going to, I mean, um, this particular slide points to two things. Number one, people who are looking to move into cybersecurity, either you have a technical background or a non-technical background, and you're looking to move into cybersecurity, or maybe you've been in the IT field, but you want to, take cybersecurity profession as a next step. And also for cybersecurity professionals who are already in the field, how can we encourage or how can we elevate Black excellence within cybersecurity professionals? And I think I will give a lot of examples based on my experience and experience of friends and family, or I mean, of colleagues, right? Black community colleagues with you. And let me just start with the professional development and training. It's I wouldn't lie. I think I was checking Lautech course few months back or even last year. I realized that they now have like a department of cybersecurity. And I think lots of school as well has department of cybersecurity. FUNAB, and the likes. And I think, yeah, a lot of school now have cybersecurity as a course, which means that there has been like an actionable steps, towards elevating Black excellence in cybersecurity, but we still need more. And I think that is what people like 10 Analytics are also doing, training. I saw AI engineering and I'm kind of like, oh, nice. This is AI world. I love the fact that 10 Analytics are, they are current. It's like I can't measure their current rate, but the fact that they are in sync with the way the technology is moving. And it's not just about training you, it's also about how can we ensure that even after the training, how can you, get a job, and not just get a job, but excel in that job and be able to elevate others in that job. And we also have like lots of, there is Cyber Safe Foundation, which is a cyber guest fellowship, which I'm part of their mentors. It's my third year in there. There is Cyberlac, which is within the UK. And I think even Canada right now are doing, for Blacks in Canada, there is this, I came across this website where Canada government is subsidizing a fee, like cybersecurity fee for Canadian PR. There is this course by Science Institute, like courses by Science, like the cheapest one is 8,000 USD. And imagine if you get into that, which is for Canadian PRs and Black people in Canada, if you get into that, you only pay 1,000 CAD to get one of the best cybersecurity training course training in the world. Science Institute. You might check Science Institute, the GCICH, GCIA, GCTI and the likes. And so I think we have, lots of training coming up, even what's it called? Institutions or universities embracing cybersecurity as a thing, but I think we still need more more professionals in the field, and we need like an hands-on training. Hands-on training in the sense that I don't want to go to conference in Nigeria and what we talk about is just papers and publication. We want something like there is this DEF CON. I'm still going to attend in Las Vegas. I know that that's like a very great event. I've never attended before in the US, but I'm going to attend one day, where you kind of do like, practical stuff, like build things, right? I think we need that. We need professional trainers, NGOs to incorporate the practical aspect of cybersecurity and build people, and that would bring me to interdisciplinary synergy. Interdisciplinary synergy in the sense that I'm sure we all know now. I'm not trying to discourage a cybersecurity career path. There's a cybersecurity career path that everyone wants to just do, GRC. And it's now becoming a thing that everyone really wants to do GRC because we all feel that it's the lowest hanging fruits in cybersecurity. Yeah, because we said, okay, you don't need to code, you don't have to be technical to do this. But how about us changing the story and say, yes, you don't need to be technical. Maybe you can start with being a GRC person, but don't sleep on GRC. How can we improve ourselves? And this interdisciplinary synergy would mean that how can we work with software engineers? If you notice something, and I'm not trying to, I think I'm just trying to voice out for cybersecurity. We have global software developers, Nigerians, African developers. They are global. They are global developers. Like they can work anywhere. In fact, you will see Nigerians or anyone in Africa working with a US, Canada, in Nigeria, and they're earning in dollars, which shows that software engineering is like a discipline that is now like globally, understood by a lot of Black people. And I ask myself, when do we start seeing Black people who build security products? And we're not just an end user. We don't just use Sentinel or a SIM solution. We don't just use uh, a particular firewall or Fortinet or cloud. We're not just like a user, they just give us the graph, the GUI, and then we use, and then like we are reviewing our last. When do we start building things? And that is why I said the disciplinary synergy is needed. I want to see a product where they said this is a product built by a Nigerian or built in Africa, like a cybersecurity product, and is used worldwide. That is how we could actually also like elevate Black excellence. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to start looking at how do I challenge my brain? How do I start learning how to code? How do I work with engineers? We have good engineers, but they write code that are not secure. We have security person that would see a line of code but would not understand it. that is not where we should be as a Black person in cybersecurity. We should challenge ourselves. We should really, really challenge ourselves. Present right now, yeah, I know I have a computer engineering background and the likes. Like I said, then I did Java and the likes, but I left that in the last 5 years because when I was working in Nigeria, most of the time, in fact, it's so, and I just realized that if we want to set up like a SIM solution, or you want to set up like a new firewall or a new interface entirely, companies, organization will bring people from abroad to set this for us. And then maybe they just train us 1 week or 2 weeks, and then we are just there using the system, maintaining the system, right? And if there's like a key issue, we still need to contact them, +1 or +444 then to really help us solve this thing. But then I think one key thing that we can do for ourselves as a black people, or as a Black person, or as Black people, is that how do we do the hard stuff? And sometimes we feel that, and what we should know, that the hard stuff pays off as well. If you think you have the energy, if you think you have the brain, if you think you have the capacity, we should do this. I know that I have technical background, but then sometimes I still feel like, oh, the technical background, there is still something missing somewhere. I feel that every now and then. And right now I'm doing Python. I'm writing Python code. I'm learning it. I'm not a guru. It's just like I'll call myself a beginner. But I realized, no, I can't just sit down with what I know. I can't just sit down with certifications alone as well. I need to start building things. And that is one key thing that we should all do. There is this, imagine an Israeli guys, yes, they are one of the best guys in cybersecurity. There's this tool that I use, Wiz.io. It's a class security tool. And Wiz.io, what Wiz.io does is they came in 2022 or 2021 or 2022 thereabouts. Google is begging to buy them with billions of dollars, but this guy said they are not selling their products. And now they are saying, okay, they are moving to that. They want to move to the UK and have their headquarter in the Europe headquarter in London. When do we start seeing Black people doing that? And I think I'm also challenging the analytics. Like when we train people in cybersecurity, in AI engineering, I mean, so you have business analysts, you have product engineering, you have AI engineering. How can we ensure that all these things will come together to build like a valuable product that can be used worldwide? I think that's one key thing, beyond just getting a job, beyond just, collecting salary. Like I said, I just want to earn salary in Nigeria. I think we need to, put this in place. Another thing would be an advocacy and policy change. And this is mostly for our government, the government, right? Both Nigerian government or Africa government as a whole. One thing that really made cybersecurity force like a big force in the UK or in developed country generally is because they have like a compliance reason. So there is GDPR in the UK. And so you would see every startup or at least every startup in the UK has an information security person, even if it's just one person. And some medium to large scale, they have a DPO as a role. Like in information security, they have at least one DPO. Imagine Nigerian government enforcing this NDPR as a thing. That would force a lot of Nigerian companies or African companies, I mean, African whatever, so maybe they have like their own African privacy documents, would force them to recruit at least one cybersecurity personnel within the organization. And do you know one thing that helped me? I think when I joined 21st Century then, and even when I moved to Fidelity Bank, I think I was just privileged to be at that point where, technology is like a thing. Banks are now trying to move some of their assets into cloud. And then I remember that we were just five of us in the department when I joined Fidelity Bank. And within 3 months or 6 months, we were like 30 something. And what they did was to fly us out to Israel and then, do training. And I think that kind of really helped my, career growth. But not even I know that if governments, if they implement policy like NDPR, there will be more needs for, and it's not just because they needed, I mean, I'm not saying they should implement it because I want more cybersecurity force in Nigeria or raised from Nigeria or but because it is essential, right? PII private, confidential data is a thing. It is essential, right? Right now, you see a lot of startups saying, "No, they packed up because somebody moved a particular billions of naira from their accounts and they could not even." A lot of cyber attacks within the fintech startup or even within the bank that they could not even say it out. And then there was a time that someone released one of the bank's vulnerability issues on the internet, that kind of a thing. So it's just like if there's like an advocacy for change by the government and like enforce it. In fact, even if US company they want to do a business with Europe, they will have to comply with GDPR. And so sometimes if a US company who has like an entity in the UK needs to have someone who understands the UK market, maybe as a DPO, an information security manager or whatsoever, and that kind of, promotes cybersecurity generally within the ecosystem. Mentorship program, I acknowledge the fact that we now have like a lot of mentorship program, within Nigeria, lots of actually, but I think we still need more. I think we need mentors who can also even teach. Or don't let me say mentors. We need mentors who could teach, mentors for people coming in, and mentors for people who are already in the field that want to grow to become like a security architect or a security engineer. Sometimes I look at
Hi, Helen.
how many minutes do I have?
Could we wrap up in 2 minutes?
Okay, I will wrap up in 2 minutes, but I'm just going to say the story. Sometimes I looked at LinkedIn and I looked at security engineering, incident response, detection engineering, and I asked myself, I want Nigeria, I want Black people, Nigeria, to get this kind of job and not just an analyst job alone. So we need that networking opportunity. And an example would be to implement an ISO standard for my organization. So we are trying to transition from an old one to a new one. And it's my first time with the new version, 2022 version. But do you know what really helped me to achieve this? So there is this mentor of mine that just did so we call it like a security surgery, where cybersecurity professional meets once in a month. It's a safe space. And then we talk about our challenge, and then you learn from other security experts. And they were able to contribute one or two things that I could pick up and then use that to implement the project I was supposed to work on in my organization. And I achieved it with excellent color, no issue, no minor, no major non-conformity. And it's like something that has never happened in the history of audits. Like they could not flag anything. Literally, they could not see anything wrong with our process. And then scholarship and financial aids. Oh God, with the current exchange rate, especially for Africans Africans in Africa, we need. I said I did my system for 250 or two something. I'm sure by now it's close to 1 million, 1 point something million. How do we expect people to, even people who have come to the field or people in the field, to afford that? And so we need a lot of, we need people to come together, maybe government or professional like me, to help people that are in Nigeria that could not afford this money in dollars or in pounds, and then provide like scholarship or financial aids for this kind of training. Imagine the Science Institute training, $8,000. Do you expect someone in Nigeria to be able to afford that? Look at what Canadian government is doing for Canada and Canadian PR. We need that kind of a thing in Nigeria as well. I think that's all. And thank you. And yeah, any question. So if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, you can just scan this QR code. Don't worry, it's not a QR phishing attack. It's not a Q phishing, or phishing attack. It's legit. So be rest assured, I won't let you download malware on your phone or your computer. But if you don't trust me, cybersecurity is all about trust. CIA, zero trust now. That's the new architecture, zero trust architecture. You can just go to LinkedIn and then type my name and then send the connection request. Thank you. And yeah, that's all.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Helen. That was quite informative. Okay, thank you. So we'll take two questions, just two questions now, because after now, Helen would also be joining our panel session. Okay, you can also ask questions. So I think I saw a certain question in the chat, and I think I'll just read that up for you. So this is Mark Baidu, and he says, I did computer science for my bachelor's and did control science and engineering for my master's. So I'm asking if I can do cybersecurity. What do you think, Helen?
Oh, yes, 100%. Regardless of your background, regardless of the fact that I studied computer engineering did not really help me, really. Even if I studied agri economics, yes, you can do it.
Yeah.
As long as you put your mind into it and then you have the right resources, of course, yes.
Absolutely. I think Chukwudebelu, sorry if I murdered your name, but Chukwudebelu seemed to have a question. So I would ask you to unmute now so that we can take your question and then we move to our panel session. So I've asked you to unmute, so please go ahead.
Hi, good evening. Thanks, Ellen. How you doing today, everybody?
Finger.
All right. Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. It's awesome. And you're looking good. I like your eyeglasses.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So my question is this. So for I think since 2022, I got a scholarship from what's their name again? This network academy, Cisco. Yeah. So I took their scholarship for the whole of 2022. Then 2023, I decided that, okay, so I want to go into information security. So I started studying, watching videos on YouTube, started following some top people and also some people on LinkedIn too. So I started watching those videos and trust me, I've learned, but there's this confusion, I don't really know because I can just study GRC, study ethical hacking. So as in there's a lot of information that I'm confused. So my question is, how do I balance it? How do I maintain one particular niche of cybersecurity? How do I concentrate? How do I maintain focus? And yeah, I'm a software developer in front end and I have coding knowledge, but I don't know how to just maintain this focus on one particular niche. I'm just confused because I don't know. I would say I don't really know what it entails to be. So, okay, for example, what that time I want to be in cloud computing, sorry, cloud security. I want to do ethical hacking. I want to do uh infosec. So it's really confusing. I don't know how you can help on that.
Oh, so not sure. Yeah, sorry, I think I muted myself. Not sure I remember your name, but it's okay to be confused. Let me put it that way. I was confused. I am still confused. And yeah, and it's all because cybersecurity has different domains, right? Today, you see a lot of people saying, oh, this is it. And then you want to just be there. Tomorrow, you want to be there. But I think for you, I think as you were just talking, I was like, okay, nice one. Maybe you kind of find like a strength. But you said you have a programming experience, like you are a developer. Then why don't you look at like an application security engineer, which kind of also might lead you to becoming a DevSecOps? You can just focus on that for now and let that be your niche. And then once you get a job, then you get started as an application security engineer or a DevSecOps engineer, or which can lead you to a DevSecOps engineer, then you can now, maybe while you're working with other team, you can be like, okay, maybe I want to become an architect, or then I want to become a cloud security engineer and the likes. But I think because with your background and with your experience, I'd say the easiest way for you to, I mean, the easiest place for you to start might be like just be an AppSec engineer. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, so we'll also be having a panel session. Thank you for that response, Helene. Okay, thank you so much. We'll go straight into our panel session now. And the moderator for today's session is definitely going to pick it up from there. All right. So I can see a lot of questions in the chat, and I guess you'll definitely get answers after our panel session. So I would let the moderator take it up from here.
Yeah. Hi, Helen. Thank you so much for that wonderful
Oh,
presentation. I learned a lot also from my own side. Okay. So, Priscilla, please confirm that you can see my screen right now. So if you are still with us to this very moment, please ensure you fill the attendance form that my colleagues are dropping so that you have access to the slide that we are using and also access to the recording of this exact session. Is going to be very, very helpful for you in the end. Okay, so please ensure you fill the attendance form so that you get access to the recordings that we are using for this exact class. Okay, so let me confirm that my panelists are all here. Let me confirm that they are all here. And if you are still following us to this very moment, please feel free to drop any emoji or any number in the chat box so that we'll be sure that you all are still here with us. Okay? In a short while, I'm going to be bringing up our panelists for this exact discussion. And just stay around because most of the questions you have is part of the questions that we're going to ask the panelists, which Helen is also amongst. We have amazing guys that are here today to be able to discuss this exact cybersecurity domain with us fully. Okay, I can see a couple of emoji in the chat box. Fantastic. It means that we still have people that are following us till this very moment. Okay, so I'm going to start off. First person that we have on the call is Israel Great Mind, Joshua. Israel is a seasoned digital forensic analyst with robust background in cybersecurity as well. He holds certification in Computer Security Plus, certified digital forensics examiner, certified penetration tester, certified ISO 27001 lead implementer, and also a certified secure computer user. He has also completed training such as Network Security Expert 2 from Fortinet Training Institute and is a Hawaii certified network associate. So Israel's expertise spans technical areas such as digital forensic, cybersecurity, and AI. He's dedicated to fortifying organizational security and achieving strategic business objectives. Hi, Israel. I don't know if you're on the call at the moment. Please feel free to unmute yourself and also share a video and say hello or hi to the entire house. Hi, Israel. Are you there? Hi, Israel. Okay, so while we're waiting for Israel to unmute himself and also show his face, I'm going to also introduce the amazing Shehu Runsewe that we have on the call. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. So Shehu is a seasoned leader in business, product, and cloud security with specialization in DevOps. And with a career that began in financial services, Shehu has transitioned into the technical. Okay, hi, Israel. Yes, I can hear you right now. Can hear you? Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
It's great to have you on the call. Okay, so right, like I was saying, Shane is currently building and leading industries, shaping products like Paystack and OPay, amongst others. So at 28, she became the youngest banking CEO in Africa, launching Switch by Sterling Bank, Nigeria's first multi-currency digital bank, now serving over 70 million users. And she holds extensive expertise in product DevOps, DevSecOps, and cloud engineering. Additionally, Sharon is the author of Technical Product Management for the Rest of Us, helping non-tech individuals understand technical concepts. Hi, Sharon. Please, if you're on the call, you are free to say hello or hi and also share yourself. Hi, Sharon.
Hello, everybody. Really glad to be here. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. It's good to have you on the call.
Hi, everybody. Just really quickly, I'm going to come into my introduction to say fantastic presentation to Helen. I loved your like I ran to LinkedIn to find you and follow you. I fully agree with a lot of the things you said, and I look forward to exploring more of those points in this panel.
All right, thank you so much, Sharon. How do you pronounce your last name?
My last name is Runshewe.
Okay, Runshewe. Thank you so much. I'm used to murdering people's name. I'm sorry about that.
Yes, that's fine.
All right. Okay, so moving on, we also have Victor. Victor Kulu is a computer scientist with specialization in cybersecurity, cyber risk management, and cybersecurity resilience of critical information infrastructure. His experience spans across the banking industry, project management, training, and of course, academics. He holds a PhD in cybersecurity and currently lectures at the Faculty of Computing, Bingham University, Cairo, Nigeria. He's also a visiting scholar at the Center for Cyberspace Studies, Nasarawa State University, KEFI, as well as a member of several professional bodies, Information Systems Audit and Control Association, ESACA, Institute of Electrical Electronics Engineering, Cybersecurity Experts Association of Nigeria, and Nigeria Computer Science Society. Hi, Victor. Are you on the call? Please say hello to everyone that we have.
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Okay,
It's
good
nice
evening.
to be here tonight.
Fantastic. So I'm going to try and pin everyone so that we all are going to be seeing your faces right now. Hi, Victor. I'm going to pin you. I'm going to pin Helen. I'm going to pin Shemu as well. All right, fantastic. So we are going to start off first. So please, everyone, please just listen attentively. I'm sure most of the questions that you have for Helen, it will be addressed during this exact panel discussion where we touch one or two questions, and then in the end, we'll have a general understanding of what cybersecurity is all about. So the first question we have for tonight is around understanding the landscape of cybersecurity, and this should go to Dr. Victor. Let me add the doctor there because it's not easy to have a PhD in cybersecurity. Okay. All right. So doctor, so how did you get started with cybersecurity space? And how do you explain cybersecurity to a newbie that is just trying to join cybersecurity fresh?
Okay, thank you, Chukwuemeka. That's a beautiful question. Yeah, I have studied computer science way back in the early 2000s. And after graduation, went into banking. And of course, I found myself in banking operations. But because of my background, somehow, I would also do ICT jobs. And way back then, we started noticing traces of things that could be associated with security attacks. So I began to pick interest in anything security, and I was trying to see how to study security. But you see, like some of the things Helen was trying to address in her presentation, as it were then, it was really difficult to find your grounds in Nigeria here in security. And so, as it were, I tried to make efforts to move to the UK then. I found programs, I applied, but then something happened and I didn't go way back then. But I kept my chest on security. So when I eventually left banking and wanted to go back to school again, I started finding looking for programs within Nigeria in cybersecurity. I traced back then to Federal University of Technology, MENA, who was doing cybersecurity programs then at postgraduate level and undergraduate level. But Great Mind is here. I think he's a product of that institution, so he will know. But as it were then, MENA could not take you as an outsider for their cybersecurity programs. They were only training their staff for the master's and PhD programs. So I decided to take a master's somewhere. I looked at the curriculum and it had some elements of security, more of networking, so I took that program. And while I was doing that program, that same institution, that is Nasarawa State University, started a PhD program in cybersecurity. I think that was where I started. So my journey into cybersecurity proper should be around, say, the last 7 years. And since then, I've been trying to find my feet within the security industry. And of course, I decided to pursue a, a higher degree in that area. And I was always making reference to Helen's presentation because she made a lot of fundamental, uh, she laid the background and she made a lot of fundamental points that will be a reference to this discussion. So like it is a journey, one keeps learning and one keeps going. So much as we are training in the university, we are training with institutes like Ten Analytics and all of that, we are also learning because it's a journey that has no stop. So that has been my journey so far. And Chukwuemeka, maybe you take the second question again so that I can attend to it.
All right. So I asked, how do you explain cybersecurity to a newbie, someone that don't know anything about cybersecurity at all?
Okay, great. Yeah. I wouldn't want to start by explaining cybersecurity. I'll rather start by explaining cyberspace. Because over my journey, cybersecurity, I do understand that cybersecurity is actually the security of the cyberspace. So whoever is a professional in cybersecurity or doing anything in cybersecurity is trying to protect the cyberspace. So for us to understand cybersecurity, you first of all have to understand what we are protecting, which is the cyberspace. Now, to understand the cyberspace, we will also have to understand that the cyberspace is another domain. Just like we have natural domains that we know, the domain of land, the domain of sea, the domain of air, and the domain of the space, they are all domains. And all these domains have traditionally been protected over the years. That is why you have a land army, you have a sea army, you have an air army, and all of that. You have people going to the space and trying to take their positions there, and all of that. So cyberspace is another domain, which is considered the fifth domain. However, the other domains are natural. The cyberspace is a man-made domain. It's an artificial domain. Because it is an artificial domain, it has a way of converging the activities of those other domains into its place. And so for me, it is even becoming greater than the other domains because it is an aggregate of those other domains put together. And to that extent, it demands protection and all of that. But what are the things that makes up the cyberspace? A whole gamut of things put together here. You talk about the softwares, you talk about the hardware systems, you talk about network infrastructure, you talk about the telecoms infrastructure, you talk about even the people who are even the core of this space. You talk about the data, you talk about quite a lot of things, even the legal frameworks, the regulatory frameworks, the standards, and all of those things put together makes what is called the cyberspace. And all these things put together, I want us to refer to them here as the cyber assets. So whoever is playing in the cyberspace is working to protect these assets. But why are they assets? They are assets because they are serving humanity and making life easier for every one of us. By virtue of two reasons, they have taken away the barrier of time, so you don't need to be, it's not night for us today. It is not day for us today. Anytime you can achieve what you want to achieve. They have also taken away the barrier of location. I'm sure Chukwuemeka is in a different geography. Helen is a different geography. Shehu is a different geography. Great Minds, and all of us are here gathered together. All other participants, I can see over 150 participants on this call, all in different geography, because we no longer have the barrier of time to do what we're doing tonight. You don't have the barrier of time to do banking. You don't have the barrier of time to learn. And this is what the cyberspace provides. But there is another actor here that the cybersecurity professional wants to address, and that is the threat actor. This is what is bringing us to cybersecurity. We have somebody who said, well, you are enjoying this, but I'll make sure you don't enjoy it sitting down. You must stand up to enjoy it. And that is where the role of cybersecurity comes in. So cybersecurity, in essence, is trying to stop or slow down the threat actor from compromising, degrading, or disrupting these cyber assets. Remember, the cyber assets are generally vulnerable by the nature of being man-made stuff. They are vulnerable. So they kind of susceptible to attacks and all of that. So the threat actor is the threat actors, different type individual cyber criminals, state actors, and cyber crime groups, and all of that. Helen was making mention of some of the most recent things that are happening across the space. But the most recent ones was yesterday that Iranian CBN was attacked. So this is what the threat actor is doing. The other time, the Trump campaign complained also that the campaign platforms were attacked and hacked into. So these are the things happening. So the whole idea about cybersecurity is to protect these assets that we talk about so we continue to enjoy them. I think I'll leave that question there for now. We will see, maybe look at it in the course of the discussion. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Victor. So from Victor's aspect, the main idea of cybersecurity is to prevent these threat actors from acting on the cyberspace, which is basically to protect everyone that is making use of any asset that is in the cyberspace fully. So that brings me to you, Shehu. For your own aspect also, how can you, how did you get started in cybersecurity in the first place? And if you are asked to, talk about cybersecurity, someone that maybe is in the medical line or someone that doesn't know anything at all, how are you going to also phrase it from your own aspect?
I really enjoyed his story of his transition or his, how he got into cybersecurity, but mine is quite different. I come from a non-technical background, which is why I wrote the book I wrote, right? I studied business administration, and my first job was in management consulting, trying to protect or not protect, because I'm in security now, I say protect, it just jumps out of my mouth. But trying to coin strategy for financial services across the continent around banking, payments, financial risk management. And I then got into core tech, right? When I joined Paystack, I was employee number 7. And the beauty of joining a startup of that nature is everybody's everything, right? You get exposed to many, different, like everybody pitches in. So it doesn't matter that I am business lead. I started to get exposed to things like business continuity and disaster recovery and just I was the one who sat down and coined most of these policies because we were trying to get a license from the CBN, right? And I had to stand there and defend it because I wrote it, right? So that was sort of like my first exposure into so these are the systems that we have to implement to protect the data that we process, the transactions that we process, etc. Over the course of my decade-long product management and product leadership career, that exposure just like extended because people knew that I was now sort of well versed in this CBN conversation and knew how to charm them. It then became my job to handle such conversations or be involved in what happens under the hood and even on an infrastructure level in whatever job I held. I think that that's what sowed the seed. I then decided that I think I want to strengthen this muscle outside of, being a really good product leader. And it felt, of course, overwhelming because it's a journey that never stops. You have to keep learning. I have a few exams I'm prepping for. But that's what started this whole thing. About 3 years ago, I then decided to face security solely or to start this transition. 4 years ago, my first book is right here looking at me. A friend of mine and I were having a conversation in New York, and we were saying, okay, are we being strategic enough about the kind of choices we make in our careers? What is the data saying for the skill sets that will be most valuable in the next couple of years? Number one on that list was data, and I'm sorry, I can't do it. And number two was security. And I thought, well, I've been interested in this thing. I've exposed myself enough to it. I think I'm going to just sink my teeth into it. So I started prepping for Security Plus. Now, if you study for Security Plus, you'll be exposed to pretty much every other facet of like security. Fast forward about 2 years later, I raised my hand. I was tired of products. I was having too many meetings, and I had maxed out on my people coin. Like I didn't want to have to charm people anymore. So I just raised my hand at work and said that I wanted to transition to information security full time. I had to prove that I was really interested because, hey, we hired you for product. You're really good at product. You have a sharp product sense. Luckily, I was transitioned into the information security team on the condition that I would still contribute to the product team. So I essentially had to do 2 jobs for about a year to afford my transition. And then I went on to do a master's degree in cybersecurity. And in the course of that master's, I wrote a thesis on cloud security adoption. And that's how I got exposed to cloud security. And the beautiful thing about wanting to go down this road is if you're exposed to so many things, you can build a portfolio of skill sets. So somebody had asked a question about, hey, I'm a front-end engineer and I don't know where to focus. what are the skill sets that are valuable? You can be a portfolio of valuable skill sets. You don't have to be a title, right? Um, chase what would make you valuable in your entity or your company. And also understand what the world values today. What does the global market value? And create sort of like a map of skill sets or tools that you want to be very good with. And that way you can present as anything. I can be an SRE engineer tomorrow. I can be a cloud engineer tomorrow. I can be DevOps. I can, and the goal here was I just want to have enough skill sets that they all sort of connect together and make me a valuable person, no matter what the role is. How would I describe cybersecurity to my son? My son is 8 years old. And when he asks me what I do, um, in his cartoons, he understands that there are such things as bad guys or they're villains, right? So what do I need to do to be, I don't know, the avatar in the in the IT space? So in the real world, things are valuable, countries are valuable, money is valuable, products are valuable. So a child at least understands that I have the skill set to protect what is valuable in the world. That's how I would describe it.
All right, thank you so much for that, Shay. Okay,
Welcome.
you have the skill set to protect things that are valuable in our world. Fantastic, fantastic. So I'm going to come to you, Israel. I know Helen mentioned while she was giving her own keynote speech that, for instance, in Nigeria, where NDPR is not fully taken into considerations, right? And I know the government is trying to do a lot of things around NDPA. They're mandating so many. For the NDPC is now up. Everyone has to register if you have above 200 data clients that you're working with. So to you, Israel, what roles are you going to say that are going to be in high demand, and how do they differ, right? So inside cybersecurity, what different roles exist, and how do people, get started in all those roles, and what's the difference among some of these roles?
Okay, thank you very much for this opportunity. I don't know if you can hear me, please.
Yes, loud and clear.
Good. It's been an interesting journey hanging out with fellows and colleagues in this field. A lot of our roles evolving in cybersecurity today with different skill set required. With the advent of, with the development of tech comes the problems, comes solutions. So a lot of challenges are coming around with the advent of, with the coming of AI. So talking about the government policies trying to integrate data protection in Nigeria, like your question has said, I see more of non-technical jobs opening up for cyber security, more of non-technical jobs around cyber security opening up. Just like Helen pointed out, we'll see more roles in GRC, more roles like a DPO, data protection officers. We'll see compliance officers as well. We'll see people who will actually help integrate this protection from paper, who help implement it in the real world. Also, I see, I've been in the field for a while now. A lot of people ask, how do we transcend into what in tech, cybersecurity? It's good that you see that cybersecurity is an opening space, it's a large space. And I might tell you, when you want to come into tech, cybersecurity is actually the easiest route, in quotes now, to come into, because even with your non-tech, you should be able to do that. And that's what I see that the job market in Nigeria now, based on the policies, are bringing up.
All right, thank you so much for that, Israel. So Helen, from your own aspect, do you have different roles that you see also that can also come up in the nearest future?
Oh, yes, of course. Lots of role actually. With AI, with crypto, with blockchain, And I think right now we should start looking at maybe an AI security specialist, a blockchain security expert, because how would you even protect the blockchain ecosystem or the product without necessarily understanding what blockchain does? I mean, there was a time that talking about Web3, if they asked me to come and secure Web3 or the infrastructure or whatever, I think I might not be able to do that because I did not understand what Web3 was then. And I think just as a technology expands or as we grow, I mean, I'm sure there will be like an IoT security engineer. IoT is not like a thing now. So it's going to be a lot, to be very honest. And just like Israel mentioned too, the DPO, the non-technical roles too would definitely come up. Even in the UK or Europe, there is a DORA now. And now employers are starting looking at, okay, do you have an experience with DORA? Like the DORA. And so it's not like, okay, another compliance rule opening for lots of people. So both non-technical and technical roles, regardless of, the thing is, title can be very deceiving. They call you, I'm an AI engineer or AI security specialist. They might call someone a security engineer, but you're working in the blockchain industry. They might call you an AI engineer, but you're working in, depending. But I think different titles, but I think we should start looking at the AI and the blockchain and the crypto space, really. Yeah, in terms of how do you secure all this technology?
All right. Thank you so much for that, Helen. So we should start looking at the AI, blockchain, and cryptocurrency. I'm sure Priscilla will be smiling because she's an expert in blockchain and cryptocurrency. So she's also happy right now. Okay. So thank you so much for that, Helen. But still on your own responses, right? So for someone that wants to start off in the cybersecurity space, right? Which one is most important at this moment? Is it to get a formal education like a degree or to start looking towards getting the industry skill and experience? Or to start looking at certification? Which one is the person supposed to, go for first from your own understanding?
Yeah, it's tricky, but a degree. I'll give a degree on a scale of 1 to 10. I mean, they're all useful. Please don't get me wrong. They are all useful. Certification, degree, experience, they all have their own place, right? Sometimes maybe a master's in cybersecurity or a degree in cybersecurity might actually, help you understand a lot of things around, I mean, the common terminology and the basics. And then a certification as well would, it's really nice for your CV sometimes, right? Because when people apply for a particular job and they need a CISSP professional, it's easier for, if you have a CISSP or security plus or whatever, your employer or interviewer would kind of trust you more than someone that does not have that, right? And experience is also really important. So let me just put it this way. I'd say a degree, level 3, a certification, level 2, experience is really, 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 really important. In fact, nowadays, even in the UK, I realized that you necessarily do not have to go to the university before you become an expert in something. And they were like, okay, go through apprenticeship. If you don't want to go to the university, then go through apprenticeship. And 10 years down the career, you see a 21-year-old or 23-year-old, I'm exaggerating, saying they have 10 years of work experience, and they're not lying because they choose to bypass the degree phase and then focus on the industry experience. So I think I would vote for industry experience if I'm to choose one. If you have the opportunity to get like an internship or um on the job training, like hands-on training, please do that first. And then that comes with an interest in terms of, okay, maybe because I have an interest in this aspect of security, I might rather consider a degree in AI rather than the security itself, just to understand AI better and see how I can apply my security knowledge to, to secure this AI. And another thing would be, okay, I need to have a set, and certification is good too. I wouldn't lie. I'd say currently preparing for CCSP and a lot of things around cloud migration, data consideration that on a normal day, if you ask me, I wouldn't even think about those things, right? So they're all good, but I think industry experience, it's really, really important.
Right. Thank you so much for that, Helen. I think I love what you said. Experience is really, really, really important. Like you stressed it really to like 3 syllables, right?
Yeah.
And that showed the importance of experience, right? And that's what analytics we are also offering. You know, when I asked you the question, my heart was beating whether you're going to say, oh, it's a degree or whether it's a different learning.
Oh, okay. I take back my word. Master's degree. That
No,
might be
but I mean, coming from you
experience.
as a part in the industry, saying that experience is the most important thing for someone to get. And that's also, I think you mentioned that also in the UK or US where you are currently, that for you to, some people don't even have degrees in all these areas, just be an expert, go to apprenticeship and get the necessary skills, and then you can easily transition into that exact space. So, like Helen mentioned, experience is the most important thing if you are looking to transition into the cybersecurity space. Okay, so Priscilla, please try and check if Israel is amongst the participants so that I can bring him up again. Okay, so while we're waiting for Israel to come up, Victor, Doctor rather, sorry, I keep forgetting that you have a PhD. I'm so sorry about that, Doctor. Right, so
most times I write my name without a title, except if I'm within the university. I don't. Outside the university, I hardly put the titles.
Yeah, it's important.
It's our chieftaincy title in the university, not.
I agree.
So on this platform, just call Victor, I'm fine. After I started from banking, we really don't even like soul names.
Yeah, I think, funny enough, I think
we
all started off on the banking industry. I don't know whether the bank is doing something different for people to enter the cybersecurity space easily, right? But Victor, my own question for you really is around, Helen mentioned that experience is really, really important. So I'm going to come from the aspect that you are part of our, teachers, our coach here at Analytics, right? So are there any particular courses that we offer here at Analytics that you feel is going to help people to easily break into the cybersecurity space easily?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Analytics platform and course offerings provides the starting ground for somebody wanting to migrate to cybersecurity. I think Helen and other speakers, especially Shehu, that is coming from a non-tech background or a non-engineering or tech background, have shown us that we can come from anywhere and Israel did mention it too, that even in the tech space, the easiest place to come to without a tech background is actually cybersecurity. So that being said, the training at Analytics, especially the cybersecurity track, and even others, Helen was just mentioning something about AI in cybersecurity or cybersecurity in AI. I was trying to develop a course on that, but the problem was, is it AI in cybersecurity or cybersecurity in AI? We will trash that maybe some days later. Now, for the cybersecurity track, I have looked at the curriculum, I have taught part of it. And what I've learned about the entire track is that it gives someone the whole background to be able to take his journey in cybersecurity. Someone was asking a question and he said he's confused on which area to go. And Helen said everyone is confused. Of course, everyone is confused. You want to be a risk manager, you want to be an ethical hacker, you want to be all of this. But Shewon also answered that question and said, put all those skills in a basket and use them like fruit when you need one. So that's fine. So the programs at Analytics gives us the entire platform, the entire background to be able to decide our journey in the course of our cybersecurity journey. So if you look at the curriculum have addressed virtually the whole journey in cybersecurity, from the GRC, the basics, the network security, the endpoint security, ethical hacking, and all those other things have been touched. Identity and access management and all of that. I think one of my students from Analytics wrote something yesterday that they have all thought that what Analytics is doing is not right. They came in, they thought that they would just open system and begin to show them how to crack hack systems immediately. But they found out that they are being taught a whole lot of things. And I've been trying to tell them that if you go the direction you want to go, you might just, you are just coming in, a lot of you coming from non-tech backgrounds. it might just not go right. And she went on a job search, and she discovered that even the IAM that when we thought she thought was nothing is at a whole portfolio on its own, looking for expertise on someone who can do just AIM. And that is a great distance. So I think the whole of the things we teach from those that I mentioned can put someone on a good entry point into cybersecurity. You can be a SOC analyst from this program because we're going to, we look at things from within the SIEM, the SOA platforms where you do some analytics on your networks and see how things are going. So it gives us the platform to actually start properly. And then when we find our feet within the industry, we can now take our journey. Maybe by the time we find an internship or find a place where we're actually doing some work, from that point, we might decide our journey properly. But meanwhile, we have the entire background of things, and moving from whichever direction no longer will be hard. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for that response, Victor. So Victor said, Tenatis gives you the background for you to be able to go heads-on into the cybersecurity ecosystem. It's not like you join instantly and you start doing ethical hacking and all those other aspects. We'll walk you through from the foundations of cybersecurity till you get to the expert level. So it's a gradual process. It's not a fast lane where once you join, you're moving into straight up, you want to start being a hacker. No, you first of all understand the three pillars on which cybersecurity is built, the CIA triad. Once you understand this, everything can easily, flow easily. All right, so to you, Sheon, right? I know on this call, we have people that have joined from several countries. We have people in Nigeria, we have people in South Africa, we have people in UK, US, Canada, and so on and so forth, right? What role do you think that networking play in building a career in cybersecurity fully?
I would say yes, I did.
Right.
I would say I think it's a critical part of building a career. Sorry about that. I think that I heard her speaking and I ran to LinkedIn because I felt like this is somebody that would understand some of my takes on building a career in cybersecurity or just agrees with the kind of ideas that I have. I think it has been instrumental to my success so far in pivoting. I haven't pulled it off without a lot of help. And so building a community that can support your ideas or your growth in your career or even helping you make a choice, I think is critical. So connect with people virtually, but also connect with people in person. Find what is going on around you. There's a cybersecurity event going on or a cloud computing event going on in Manchester. I've worked from home for 5 years now, and I'm terrified of meeting people in person, but I have to go, right? Because at the end of the day, you're going to need people to share ideas, point you in the right direction, and also tell you what is going on in the world today. You can't figure it out yourself. No matter how smart you are, no matter how gifted you are, somebody else is more exposed. Somebody else will have other ideas that you might find valuable. The examples where you would do so well in your job, the more you sharpen your iron with others. So I'm very much a fan of seeking out people who have, similar mindset as you, who are on the same path as you, who are a little ahead of you, people who are coming from behind you, but more importantly, I think most importantly, people who are sort of like at your level, because I think that peer mentoring has played a very important role in me getting as far as I have in my career altogether, but very specifically in my cybersecurity career.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Sharon. Thank you so much. So it simply means for you to be able to grow in this exact industry, you need to be able to network. All right. So for example, on this call, Sharon has run to follow Helen on LinkedIn to also build her own network. So I don't know if
Victor too.
And Victor as
A
well.
doctor in cybersecurity, I'm following him.
Fantastic. So if experts like this in the industry are also still building their own network, for newbies that are trying to break into the ecosystem, the best thing that anyone can actually do is to also start connecting with the relevant people in that exact industry. So thank you so much for that, Sheil. So back to you, Helen. I think this is the last question I have for you before I have everyone gives a general advice. How valuable are internships or entry level with respect to cybersecurity? How valuable are they? How valuable is it in the exact industry? Because we've also noticed that when people are looking for jobs these days, everyone wants to land that job that is going to give them the 6 figures instantly. No one is now going for the entry level roles. Everyone wants to hit, oh, where is that expert mid level role? That's what I want to go for. So, from your own aspect, how valuable are internship or all those entry level jobs with respect to trying to break into the cybersecurity industry?
Okay, me, Helen,
Yes,
right?
Helen.
Oh,
Yes.
I think I'm just going to even cite it from different examples from my experiences. And I think in 2016, like I said, I studied computer engineering, but then anything that would give me money, right? And I was just applying for an IT role. In fact, I did not mention I was a fashion designer. I can't sew, nice dresses and suits and the likes, just because I don't want to be poor. Let me put it that way. However, when I got this role, a graduate security engineer or IT security engineer, whatever they call it then, I think the first 6 months was a very, I think it's like the organization collapsing 5 years in Lautech or 6 years with strike in Lautech to 6 months for me, understanding something that's, I mean, I can't talk about my career without mentioning the 21st century or what Fidelity Bank did for me, to be very honest. And then at 21st century, they were paying me 80,000 naira then. It's just like, how much is 80,000 naira? But I really did not, yeah, I care about the money, but I really did not care about the money as well. But then I think it was that kind of elevated my career in cybersecurity. And I mean, trainees and some training really. Seeing data center for the first time. Firewall, what does firewall looks like for the first time? You know, doing a lot of routing, knock, sock, and the likes. I think they are really valuable to your growth beyond certifications, beyond master's degree, I wouldn't lie. So, and presently, like I said, I have a technical background for 5 years now, or 6, 7 years. And then in the last 1 year, my role sort of changed because of lots of things, and I get to do more of GRC. And while I like it, I think I'm beginning to feel like, okay, I need to do more, I need to do more. And a friend of mine is like, okay, Ellie, what do you want? I think I want to become a dictation engineering. And I told him, I said, I don't mind taking a junior role, you know, as a dictation engineer to understand what it does, maybe as a part-time or whatever, if money went to be a factor. But depending on family situation or your plans. So I don't mind taking a junior role as a dictation engineer in the AI space to understand the skill sets in 6 months or 1 year, rather than still maintaining your current level of salary, which shows how important, these graduate training roles, internship roles are really important. They kind of build the foundation. It's like you saying you want to build a house without a land, and you don't have like a foundation. That wouldn't really work, right? And I don't just want to touch my CV. Yeah, it can happen. But then if it's going to take you to maybe like take a step back, or maybe get like a part-time role, or even start as a graduate security engineer or whatsoever, to get good in that field, and within 6 months and 1 year, get whatever you want to get, and then go and touch your CV again for a mid-level role. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for that response, Helen. So finally for you, Victor, I think in the chat box, I saw a question around, is there any age barrier with respect to breaking into cybersecurity? So, and that sort of forms one question I want to ask you. Are there some other misconceptions with respect to breaking into the cybersecurity industry that is not entirely true, pertaining to things like all this your age gap, or maybe you are a guy or you're a lady? Are there other misconceptions that you feel like you can also dish out to people, and are they entirely true for your own perspective?
Okay, thank you, Chukwuemeka, for that question once again. I think there are quite a lot of misconceptions. They are called misconceptions in the first place because they are not true. For instance, you actually have tried to point us to one already, the one of age barrier. I think among all the panelists here, I'm the ancestor here. So, and I
Never
came to
can tell,
cybersecurity.
sorry. You never can tell.
I came into cybersecurity quite later, and I think I'm taking my journey. I haven't arrived. I don't think I'm anywhere close to arriving because I don't think one can actually arrive on this journey. But there is somebody older than me, my mentor in this field, who mentored me, even my PhD. Is someone that is hands-on. Prof is 62. Yeah, 62 by September of this year. Prof is life hands-on. Helen was talking about moving into AI in cybersecurity. That is what Prof is working on currently at 62. He's breaking new grounds by the day. So it's just a mindset thing. And I quote Helen again in her keynote address. She said, as long as you're in this field, at 75, you'll be feeling 25. And I think because uh, it works your brain every now and then. You don't have space to rest or sleep. You're always trying to do something new, trying to learn something new, so you can't. I think the other time me and Chuka Emeka were chatting, it was around 8 p.m. He told me the night was still very young. Let me go back to, and that was the truth. I went back, I actually worked till about 12 midnight. So you can't sleep here. So age barrier is no issue. The other misconception is the misconception that cybersecurity is one huge techie area. It's numbers, it's cracking computers, and it's all of this. And some people are even scared of coming in. I studied history, I can't come in. I studied economics, I can come in. That is also a misconception. Even take away the GRC rules that we think are the lower hanging fruits. You can actually get into the real thing and do cybersecurity. So that misconception is also not true. Um, there is this one, is it a misconception or a feeling? When you come in and you start trying to learn, there is this time that these doubts start to set in, midway you're joining or at the point of entering into your joining. That is the imposter syndrome. That even when Helen was offered the big salary, she chose midway because she was afraid. She was just an imposter here. She's a fraud here. She's a nobody here. Of course, it happens to everybody, especially when you meet in a group like this and everybody begins to talk about their medals, their badges, what they have done. You say, I'm nowhere. Let me just go back to where I'm coming from. That is also a misconception. It's a journey you are building. So just keep building. It's one block at a time. And each time you put a block, you have climbed. And since you are building, it's a building that continues. It's not like a physical structure. It's a structure of knowledge. A structure of knowledge is a continuous structure that never ends until the day you stop breathing. So just keep building. And before you know it, 2 years, 3 years, like you look back and say, oh, so far I've come so very, very good. And finally, on that, I will make a suggestion. Motivate yourself and then find others that are in a similar journey with you and motivate. We're talking about networking. Sharon was telling us about networking the other time. I think networking is very key. Keep in touch with other people in the career at your level, higher than you and even lower than you. That way you understand that you are chasing people ahead of you. There are people from behind you chasing you. And then there are people at the same level which you can share notes and actually know where you stand with time. But just keep on your journey. You are going to get there. Even if you don't get there at the same time with everyone else, you're sure going to get there. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Victor. I wanted to ask you to also give a word of advice, but I think you've already added yours to the last responses that you gave. So I'm just going to ask Cheryl and Helen to, to the newbies or to your younger self, what word of advice do you have for them? Anyone can go first. Hi, Helen. I think you are H, so you can go first.
Yes. Oh, okay, that's fine. I think for me, um, I don't want to say believe in yourself. Yes, believe in yourself. That's good. But I think one thing that personally resonates with me is don't just be good at what you do, be the best. That's one thing that keeps me moving now and then. If I think that, okay, I'm feeling comfortable here, then I need to do something else again. Challenge yourself. So don't just be good at what you do, be the best. I think that's just something that keeps moving on. Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much for that, Helen. So don't just be good at what you do, be the best. Okay. And how can you become the best in cybersecurity? Start with analytics first, and then we're going to build you up that exact ladder. Right. So how about you, Cheryl? What advice do you have for the newbies that are trying to break into the industry, or to your younger self as well?
I would say document your journey. I think we need more voices in cybersecurity. I think that the umbrella theme here is Black excellence. I think that if there's more representation, if there are more voices, and it doesn't have to be accomplished voices. It doesn't have to, you don't have to be, you know, a whiz in cybersecurity. You can share what you're learning at 10 Analytics. And you could be one inspiring other people who are coming behind you, and then just driving traffic to this field that is just so promising for the next decade slash two decades. And I dare say forever. But also you're inviting people to be invested in your growth, if that makes sense. And it like you are opening yourself up for incredible opportunities because there are growth opportunities. There are people who want to help you grow as well. And just I'm all about representation. If I can't wait to dive into what other people write. And I think that, for example, in my own journey of cloud engineering, I don't see a lot of African women talking about DevSecOps. I don't. That is a problem. I want to, as best I can, it's hard, just share my journey, share what I'm learning, and hopefully inspire other Black women to come into the space. Because if we want excellence, representation is definitely a key to that. So please share what you're learning, share why it's hard, share what's easy, share what you're not finding easy. That way you can grow faster, and this field can grow faster. We can ensure Black excellence that we're all hoping for.
All right. Thank you for that, Sharon. So basically, we should document our journey. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. So finally to you, Sharon, someone is asking if everyone in the cyberspace wears glasses. Do you wear glasses also?
I do. I just took it out because it was hurting. My scarf is tight. No,
Oh,
this is just a nerd problem. And when did I start wearing glasses? I think it was when it got worse when I joined startup life because I was in front of my laptop an unhealthy amount of hours. I don't want to confess how many hours in a day. So it affected my sight. And it just got worse over the years. I don't think it's a general, but I have lots of friends in security who don't wear glasses. But yeah, I can see that all of us on the screen are glasses
Oh
customers.
no, and this one it's just for the screen, not
No, I can't even watch TV. I can't see across the room. My
and
glasses, so this one's a bit bad.
all right. Thank you for that, Cheryl. Okay. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Helen. Thank you, Victor. Thank you, Israel, in case you are back on the call. So we'll be wrapping up the panelist discussion right now, where I go deeper into explaining to people on how they can join analytics fully. Because a lot of questions are on the chat box, people asking, how do I get started? How do I get started? So please feel free to still stay on the call while I try to drive the entire discussion to get everyone to understand every single thing they need to know pertaining trying to get into cybersecurity with analytics. Okay, so thank you, Helen. Thank you, Victor, and thank you, Cheryl, one more time. All right. So I'm going to quickly
All right,
run
thank
through.
you.
All right, I'm going to quickly run through what we have. I have a game here that we're supposed to play, but I guess we are going to come back to that exact game, right? We're going to come back to it why I try to, quickly drive people through every single thing that they need to know. So once we are done with that, we can now play this childhood game of cybersecurity that we all played, okay? So pertaining to cybersecurity, we've been able to understand what cybersecurity is all about, but how can you get started in the cybersecurity career path? what are we offering that is going to help you transition easily into this exact career path, right? Like Victor rightly mentioned, we have a lot of key learning areas that you're going to walk through. And what this does for you is that it positions you to give you a great landing inside cybersecurity. So if you join us, we offer programs for 4 months. So which means you're going to be learning cybersecurity with us massively for 4 months. You learn in the classroom with us for 3 months, and then have an internship experience for 1 month with us also. And the key learning area that you're going to be working through is, first of all, you understand the foundation of computing and networking, right? So when we talk about IP, when we talk about mouse, when we talk about keyboard, CPU, you need to understand all those basic aspects before we now move right into how can you use Cisco Packet Tracer to deploy a network security for a company, right? So these are things that you are going to be learning in the classroom. And one thing that makes our own learning journey very amazing is that they are all project-based learning. Like we heard what Helen said, experience is really, really, really important. Like she she made experience to be the most important thing that you need if you're trying to transition into the tech ecosystem. And how do you build experience when you are trying to transition? Is by learning using project-based model. Okay, so what it means is that if you are learning about Cisco Packet Tracer, you are going to be hands-on on your own virtual box using that Cisco Packet Tracer to learn how you can make use of it. Another key learning area we're going to walk you through is introduction to cybersecurity and information security principles, right? Like Helen also mentioned, she studied computer science, but all through her 4 years in the university, or 5 years, she did not come across anything like the CIA triad, right? And for anyone playing fully in the cybersecurity frame, you need to understand the principle on which every other thing is built on, and that is CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability, which means what she learned in school was not really instrumental to her transitioning into the cybersecurity phrase. She had to do a different learning for her to fully prepare herself for the cybersecurity journey. So you also walk through offensive and defensive cybersecurity. How do you perform an attack, and how do you also defend an attack? For cryptographic basics is also what you are going to be walked through. The game I wanted us to play earlier is somehow linked to cryptography, where you have to, assign lines, assign numbers to a word, and then, codify it fully that another person will not understand what it means. So you're also going to walk through cyber threat and attack vectors. What exactly is cyber threat and attack vectors, and how is it instrumental in the cybersecurity ecosystem? You will learn all these things using real life case studies. And after that, we'll now walk you through network security, endpoint security, web and application security, cloud security, incident response and forensic, and of course, cybersecurity career and certifications. So while you are learning, you are going to be using a lot of tools. You're going to be using the Wireshark, you're going to be using VMware, you're going to be using Nmap for you to be able to analyze open ports. If you want to run the one that is a scheduled scanning, can make use of Nexus. You're going to be using Metasploit, Cisco Packet Tracer, and a lot of other tools for you to be able to learn each and every area that we are going to walk you through in the tech ecosystem. So I don't want to talk what Helen said that she was earning 4 years ago, but the average salary for people in UK that is into cybersecurity is around £57,000. In Canada, it's as high as 140,000 Canadian dollars, and in US, it's as high as 105,000 US dollars. So if you joined us earlier, you would have heard what Helen said that she earned far back as 4 years ago. And then you can also do your extrapolation and, think of what she can be earning now in the exact cybersecurity ecosystem. And what this simply means is that there is money to be made, right? Like she rightly pointed out, in Nigeria or in Africa, there's still a lot of lack when it comes to cybersecurity. And so kudos to the federal government. I think at the moment they've come across the NDPA. The NDPR was, recently changed to the AN Act, which is now NDP Act, okay, Nigeria Data Protection Act, on which that any company that is processing any data of 200 or more people must have a DPO. And what this simply means is that there is market for everyone, okay? So if you're in Africa, that means this evolving landscape that they are currently requiring data protection officers, you have opportunities to also get into cybersecurity through this exact career path. So for our courses here at Analytics, it's every Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time. And in the evening, we'll have the 6 p.m. class to 9 p.m. class West African time. So if you're in Europe, if you're in UK, if you're in Africa, the morning. Sorry, I was throwing off the call. I'm coming up right again. Okay. So like I was saying, please confirm that you can still hear me, Priscilla. Hi, Priscilla. Please confirm that you can hear me. Okay, fantastic, fantastic. Okay, so as I was saying, our classes is on Saturdays, where it's just morning and evening, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and the evening class starts from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And on Sundays, you get the self-paced Watch Me Do It videos that is going to introduce you to other concepts in cybersecurity, which means if you're going to have how to use Cisco Packet Tracer, you are going to get a short bite video to introduce you to this exact concept. And then on Saturday of the next week, you will now have the live class where you have a one-on-one conversation with our professionals to make you understand every single thing pertaining to what you watched in that exact video. Okay, so moving on also, how exactly can you be able to transition into the tech ecosystem within these 4 months that we are talking about? Right, so I'm bringing up my screen again, just a moment. Let me be sure that it is up for everyone to see. Okay, but is it really possible for you to transition within 4 months into the tech industry? This is a question that we always get. How can I be able to transition into this exact industry within a space of 4 months? So we have a standard curriculum that introduces you to every single thing that you need to know pertaining to joining this exact industry. And it's created in such a way that it walks you from ground zero up that exact ladder. Okay, it walks you from ground zero to the expert ladder. And what it does for you is that, first off, you are going to be given a milk, like it will be as if you are drinking milk. From that baby steps, then you now gradually walk up the ladder of an expert. Okay, so I'm bringing up my screen shortly, just a moment so that I'll be sure that it is up. Okay, but if you are just joining us, please ensure you fill the attendance form so that you have access to the recording of this class and also the slide that we are using for this exact training. Okay, ensure you fill the attendance form so that you get access to the slide that we are using and also the recording that we are using for this exact training. Okay, just a moment. Please, my colleague Adam just dropped it in the chat box right now for everyone to have access to. Okay, so my screen is proving a little bit difficult to come up, but just a moment, please, and it is going to be up right now. Just a moment. A moment. While we wait for it to come up, please, if you've not filled the attendance form, please ensure that you fill it right now so they can have access to everything that we are talking about. Learning the skills with analytics and then build up from that exact space, okay? So first, you've identified your career path to be cybersecurity. The next step for you to take is to learn the skill. And that means you have the need to register with analytics to build up that exact knowledge base. Then number 3 step for you to transition is to gain project-based experience. Like Helen rightly mentioned, experience is the most important thing out of getting a degree, getting a certification, and experience and skill. Which one is most important? Like she rightly mentioned, getting a project-based experience is very, very, very important Because if you want to break into the cybersecurity frames, someone needs to know that, oh, Chukwemeka can make use of Nmap, Chukwemeka can make use of Nexus, Chukwemeka can make use of the other tools, Wireshark, VMware, and so on and so forth. So it's important for you to learn using project-based platforms, to use all the key learning areas you're going to work through using a project. And the next is to build and gain employability skills. Okay, you need to develop and tailor your CV to the jobs that you are applying to. For you to be able to land a role, your technical expertise is not the only thing that you need, right? So you have your technical expertise and you also have your employability skills. And these two things are basically what's going to land you that exact job offer that you are looking for. Then number 5, like Shane also mentioned, networking is very important. And for a community like Analytics, this is an area that we play very, very critically in. For instance, you can be in a class and your colleague got an offer. And then after a while, she's still receiving offers. What we do here at Analytics is for that your exact colleague to reach out to the employer. Hi, I've already received an offer. Do you mind if I recommend my colleague for this exact role? And we've had instances where this exact networking opportunity also help people within our exact ecosystem to also land jobs. Then mentorship is also critical for you to be able to transition within this exact 4 months interface. Okay, the way you are seeing Helen come into this session, talking to you, the way you've seen Sharon, the way you've seen Victor and Israel, that's the same way you are going to have a one-on-one mentor speaking to you every week, which means every week you have someone that is talking to you on the trends that is in vogue with respect to cybersecurity. So all these things is basically to build you into a full person that will be able to transition from where you are at the moment to your next level of where you want to be. For instance, in the class, you're going to see projects like this, right? So these are things that you are going to be working on. So this, one of our past students, Usman, so what he had to say is that he joined Analytics in March and has learned a lot in the cybersecurity program. So as a cybersecurity student, he gained valuable knowledge and hands-on experience in safeguarding digital assets, ensuring data integrity, and implementing robust security measures. All right. So part of the project that Usman had to work with is Bizlet's bank network expansion using Packet Tracer. Right. So what this means is that Usman can comfortably deploy network for any bank or any company across the world. Because the beauty of the tech ecosystem is that tech is universal. Anything you are learning in US is also the same thing that is going to be applicable in UK. It's something that is going to be applicable in Canada. Same thing that is going to also be applicable in Africa. So for this exact project they worked on is for a business bank, a mid-sized financial institution that has been experiencing significant growth over the last couple of years. Now, to meet that exact increasing demand, he's been tasked to build as a network engineer. So he's been approached by Business Bank to design and implement a network architecture for the new branch and establish a secure connection to the main branch, right? So what this means is that Usman needs to understand the business problem and also profile solutions to it. Now, first of all, the first thing he did was to itemize everything that the business needs to achieve, which is number 1, design a robust and secure network infrastructure for the new branch. Number 2, establish a reliable and encrypted connection between the new branch and the main office. Number 3, ensure seamless integration of the new branch network with existing system. And was he able to achieve all this thing? 100%. Now, if someone like Usman, who is looking for an entry-level role, is seeking for a job, and you that has zero experience in the cybersecurity ecosystem is also seeking for a job, who do you think the recruiter is going to take? Of course, it's going to be Usman, because Usman has a skill and he also has the experience to back all these things up. So what we also do here at Analytics is to make sure that once you are joining us, you are expected to build your portfolio. You're expected to have a portfolio, which means each of those key learning areas that you are going to be worked through, you will instantly be putting it in your own portfolio that by the end of your stay, you can comfortably point to your portfolio as the evidence of the skill and experience that you've been able to acquire. So for someone like Usman, you can see the expected outcome of the project that he worked on. Number one is a secure and efficient network infrastructure for the new branch. Number two, seamless and protected communication between the main and new branch. Number three is improved network management and monitoring capabilities. And four is enhanced overall security posture for business bank. So what this simply means is that Usman can comfortably beat his chest and say he is a consultant, right? Because the project our students work on are real life based projects. They are all real life based case studies, which means we as a company, we are working on that exact project for a client. What we now do is that we also pass it on to our students, also work on it, but we'll make sure that we codify all those data so that we'll be in compliance to either NDPR if they're in Africa, or maybe GDPR if it's a data that is coming from any of the European countries. And all these things always seems impossible until it is done, okay? Which is why we have a couple of success stories from our students in a couple of different tech stack. Okay, we'll have people like Abigail that have been able to transition into a technical career path from being a care worker. We'll have Tony that also transitioned from being a pharmacy into the tech ecosystem. We'll have Steven that also transitioned from being a customer service rep into the tech industry. And of course, Ikmat also transitioned from being a full-time stay-at-home mom to becoming a tech expert in UK. And this can also be your story if you take the advantage of our 6 level, okay? Our 6-step approach to you moving from where you are at the moment to the next place you want to be, which is, for instance, on this call, we can have someone like Salis Nasser. Salis can say, hi, my name is Salis, and I am a teacher. So first thing Salis had to do is he's already identified that he wants to be a cybersecurity person, which is step 1. Step 2 of what he needs to do is to learn the skill, okay? And that is by registering with analytics. And then after you've registered, your learning is going to be a project-based approach, which means that exact step 3 is going to be ticked. While you are learning cyber attack vectors, while you're learning network security, you're learning different aspects of cybersecurity, you're going to be using a real-life project. And that ticks that exact box of gaining a project-based experience. Then the last one, the number 4 one, is to gain employability skills, where we're also going to teach Salis how he's going to structure his CV, how he's going to structure his LinkedIn, how he's going to use Upwork and other services to build his employability strengths. And this is definitely what's going to make him an all-rounder by the end of his stay with us. Then number 5 is also networking. You have the ability to network with every individual in your class. When we started this call, we're around 150, and you have access to people. When you join the mentorship classes, you can easily converse with everyone across the globe. And number 6 is the mentorship session that we also provide that helps you to gain valuable mentors that will help you navigate the exact cybersecurity ecosystem. And this is Salis in the end saying, hi guys, I am Salis and I'm a cybersecurity expert. And these are things that we've been able to achieve with him for the last couple of 4 months using our 6-step approach. And the amazing thing about cybersecurity is that once you are done training, you are not limited to just applying to one role, okay? You are not limited to applying to one role. You have access to diverse sectors inside information security for you to be able to get roles. You have cybersecurity analysts. You can work as a network security engineer. You can work as an incident response analyst. You can work as a pen tester, as a security architect, as a vulnerability analyst, and of course, as a security compliance analyst. And there is so much more, right? You are not just limited to only this exact aspect of cybersecurity. You also heard what Helen said. Helen said that she used to play fully in the technical aspects, but recently she's now working in the GRC system. And like I mentioned, for you to land a role, you need to get this technical skill and the employability skill, which equates you to getting that exact job offer. So we've talked about the technical skills. For you to get the employability skills, we'll have the CV review sessions where we'll walk you through how you can model your CV to pass through the applicant tracking system. All right? How do you put in the keywords that is relevant for you to be able to land a role? You've seen a job advert, and what they're asking is for someone that has Nmap experience, but you have experience using Nexus. Now, Nexus can comfortably do most things that Nmap will do. How do you structure this to put it in your CV for you to pass that initial stage of the applicant tracking system? These are things that we will put you through. And we also have the LinkedIn optimization sessions where you are going to be taught how to build your LinkedIn for recruiters to be reaching out to you. And if you want to also play fully in the contractual space, you have access to Upwork. You'll be taught how you can be in UK and work for a company in Canada, how you can be in Ireland and work for a company in US, how you can be in Africa and work for a company overseas. So these are things that will walk you through. And also number 4, which is how you navigate the job market. Okay, so because there are also available jobs that is not only on LinkedIn, it's not on Glassdoor, it's not Indeed. How do you navigate all these hidden job markets? These are things that we also provide to you. And when you land a role, you have the opportunity to also book an interview prep session with us where we are going to walk you through every single thing that you need to know. How do you use the STAR approach to answer situation-based questions? STAR approach meaning situation, task, achievement, and results. How can you use this to answer a situation-based question during your interview? For instance, someone has asked you, hi, Chukwemeka, tell me about a time in the past where you were able to use Cisco Packet Tracer to set up a network for any company. How do you answer that question using the STAR approach? Starting with the situation. While I was consulting with analytics, I was able to work for a bank, which is Business Network Bank, and my tasks include being able to, deploy the servers, deploy the system, and run a connection between the switch and the system. And what I achieved was that in the end, the connection was successful. And this led to an improved speed for the bank that we deployed this internet for. So simply, you've used that exact approach to answer all these questions. And because the projects we are working with are real life-based projects, you are not going to say you were a student with analytics. No, it's going to be that while you were consulting with us. And that means that we are also available to provide reference and recommendation letters for you. Okay, so we are available to provide this reference letter for you in the event that you've gotten a new role or you're moving up the career ladder. We are available to make all these things happen. Then number 7 is the weekly mentorship sessions, where you have expert cybersecurities come into the class to speak to you on the relevant things that you need to know. So you're going to be having people like Helen, people like Sharon, people like Victor, Israel, come to the class every Thursday to speak to you for 1 hour on things that you need to know. And when you land a role also, we provide the on-the-job support till you can stand firmly in that exact company. And this leads us to the level 3, which is our guaranteed job interview for you after you are done training with us. So once you are done training with us, 1 month after, you will definitely land one job interview. And this is not solely on us, all right? Because the approach is fully, we are going to equip you with technical skill, equip you with the employability skill. So once you have passed through all these levels, the next one is you are going to be applying to jobs, right? And we track all these job applications that if you apply to any role, we have a job application tracker where you are expected to go and upload all these jobs that you've applied to. So in the event that maybe you've applied to 10, 20, 15 roles the previous week, and then in 2 weeks' time, we've not seen you come back to us to say, hi, Chukwemeka, we need you to prep, we need the company to prep me for an interview that I got. It simply means that something is wrong in the way you are applying or something is wrong with your CV. So in that event, we are going to have a one-on-one conversation with you to help you structure your CV, help you look at the way you're applying till you can land that exact one interview invitation before you are done training with us. So like I mentioned, you have a role to play here, which means you need to apply to jobs, right? Jobs will not come and land at your feet. You need to take that exact step and be able to apply to jobs. And the learning model that we also apply here is the hybrid system, where you have access to our learning management system. Right, quickly, let me bring up the learning management system so that we can also see some of the things that we are going to be having access to. So once you are onboarded inside, once you've registered for our cybersecurity program, you have access to this exact platform, our analytics learning management system, right? So here, you will see the Watch Me Do It videos that we also upload. And the recordings of your classes will also be uploaded here, right? So what this means is that even if you miss a class, you still have access to watching the recordings of that previous class, right? So maybe during the Saturday class, you had an emergency, you had a work engagement or something of that nature. You immediately that class finishes, it will be uploaded to this exact platform and you have access to it. And it's a lifetime access, meaning that even on the job, if you find anything challenging, can always refer back to this exact platform for you to watch that video again and fire on with the projects that you are working with. Okay, so moving on. I hope we are still here. I hope we are still following me. If you are still following us to this exact moment, please drop in a 1 so that I'll be sure that someone is following us till this very time. If you are still following us, please drop a 1 so that I'll be sure that people are still listening to us. Okay, I can see a couple of 1. Amazing, amazing. Okay, fantastic. All right, so we have success stories of people that have been able to apply this exact 6-step approach to land their roles. Okay, we have people like Buki that also got a role. We have Shehu that landed 2 offers after he applied this exact formula with respect to his own tech stack. And in the past, we've had people come back to the classroom to talk to our students on how they secure their own jobs after training with us. So what you do for me is, after this training, just navigate to our YouTube account and just go through it. You are going to see hundreds of success stories of people that have been able to apply this exact approach and comfortably they were able to land their own role. So that brings me to the offer we have for you. Our next cohort is starting by the 7th of September 2024, which should be in a couple of 2 or 3 weeks from now. Okay, and you have the ability to get a 20% discount that we are offering you. So for our cybersecurity program, the full amount is $750, but for you on this call, we have a 20% discount, which means instead of you to pay $750, you get to pay $600. Instead of paying £625, you get to pay £500. Instead of paying €730, you get to pay €580. Instead of paying 1,125 Canadian dollars, you get to pay 900 CAD. And you also have the ability to structure your exact payments. Okay, so $400 gets you into the class. And then 1 month into that exact program, you can now make the second payment. £350 gets you registered for the exact program. 1 month into the program, you make the subsequent £150. €400 also gets you the access to the class. And then 1 month, you now make the exact €180 payment. Same thing with the Canadian dollars. 600 CAD gets you into the class, and then 1 month into the program, you make the complete payment. And for you to be able to make this payment, simply click on the link that my colleague is dropping in the chat box, right? Once you click on that exact link, it's going to bring you to the Tenalytics main stack store, right? So it's going to bring you to Tenalytics main stack store. And what you need to do at that very moment, simply navigate to the Cybersecurity Analyst program, which is this, right? So this is the Cybersecurity Analyst. What I need to do at this point is simply to click on it, right? And once you click on it, it's going to take you to the checkout page where you're going to now make your payments. Now, the beauty of this is that it picks your geolocation. If you are in UK, the pricing is going to come out for you in pounds. If you're in US, it's going to be in US dollars. If you're in Canada, it's going to be in Canadian dollar. And if you are in Nigeria, which I am at the moment, you are going to get the Naira option. So for people in Nigeria, you are seeing that what you're expected to pay is ₦1 million. Okay. And if you want to reserve a seat, you can make that possible with 650,000 Naira. So let's assume I want to make this full payment of ₦1 million. What I simply need to do is type in that ₦1 million Naira here, click on reserve a seat, right? Click on reserve a seat. Once I do that, it's going to bring me to the option of where I need to put my details. So at that very moment, I simply have to type in my name, Chukwemeka Ikpa, put my email address, put my phone number. First off, I need to select the exact country that I'm currently in, which is Nigeria. So I'll select Nigeria, and then let me just put any number here. All right. And once you've done that, simply click on pay for the product. Right. Once you've done that, the main stack checkout box will pop up for you. So what you need to do at this very moment is simply, if you want to make payments using your card, you simply if you want to make payments using your card, you simply input your details. If you want to make payments using the bank transfer option, you have the opportunity to click on the transfer box and then copy the bank account number and make payments. Right? Like I mentioned, if you want to make payments using the card details, simply put your card expiry date, and then your CVV and click on pay. And that is as simple as that. If you want to make payments using transfer, simply go to the transfer option, and the bank that you're going to make transfer to will also appear for you. So simply copy the account number, go to your bank app, and make payments. What are you still waiting for? Remember, this discount is not for everyone. It's just for the first 20 people to register for this program, which means once that 20 slot is filled, it's totally off. At that moment, you now have to make the full amount. So I always advise people during sessions like this is take advantage of the discount, get into the class, and then start learning. You can use the first payment option to secure your spot. Then 1 month into that exact program, you can now make the subsequent payment. I don't know if at this point anyone has further questions that they want to ask. Please feel free to use the raise hand icon and we are going to take your question, or please feel free to type it in the chat box and we are going to also pick it from there. Okay, so any question from anyone? Do you have any question from anybody? If you have any question, use the raise hand icon and we are going to take it. We are going to call you up to ask, or you can type it in the chat box and we are going to also take it from there. Okay, I have one from Harry. Is a cybersecurity analyst role a technical or non-technical role? Fantastic question, Harry. I don't know if Helen or any other person is still on the call. If not, I would have to take your question. Okay, I think they are not here anymore. So I'll take your question, Harry. So as a cybersecurity analyst, it's fully a technical role, all right? But it also depends on the exact aspect of cybersecurity that you are fully playing in, right? So on a day-to-day of a cybersecurity personnel, when you come to a SOC center, you have people that are going to be making use of Nmap, making use of Nexus for them to also be able to analyze threats, making use of Wireshark to analyze all these threats. And you're also going to have people that their role is around incident response, or their role will be around GRC, or their role will be around what's this other one? You have access managers, right? So all these are different paths that exist in the cybersecurity phrase. Okay, so as a SOC analyst, it now depends on the exact place that you are fully tailored to. In any SOC center, you're going to see a pen tester, you're going to see a security architect, you're going to see a compliance person. So it depends on the exact domain that you are fully going to be in. There are technical areas in cybersecurity, there are non-technical areas. So fully, both of them can comfortably coexist in that exact industry. I don't know if that makes sense to you, Harry. Okay, I'm going to ask Daniel. Daniel, I've asked you to unmute. Please go ahead and ask your question. Hi, Daniel.
Okay, good evening, sir.
All right, good evening, Daniel.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry, my question is that, is there a way we can get cybersecurity mentorship and also internship around Nigeria that are kind of free or pay lesser amounts compared to what you've shown us? Because like for someone like me, I'm actually passionate about cybersecurity, but funding is a very huge problem for me.
All right, fantastic question, Daniel. Now, it all depends on what we apply value to, right? So I'm going to approach it from that exact aspect. We have a lot of people that are currently in our class from and US, Canada market fully, right? So it depends on what you attach value to, Okay, so we offer mentorship and internship to people, and that is fully at this price that we are giving it out to you. Like we mentioned, remember the approach we're using is basically two, the technical skill approach and also the employability skill, right? So we're giving you a full package deal and also mentorship, internship, and everything included inside it till you land a role. So at this moment, I don't think you should be looking at the pricing at the moment, all right? Look at the value of which you are going to gain something from. Okay, so if you attach so much, if you attach a lot to the pricing, you might end up not going for it. For instance, if you joined the call earlier when Helen was speaking, she mentioned far as 4 years back, she was earning close to 60,000. All right, she was earning close to 60,000. And now, do you think that what she learned, she had to do a lot of courses, she had to learn a lot of skills and get a lot of other personal contributions that she made to herself? Do you think it's something that she would do if there is no return on that exact investment? Okay, so see it from the aspect that you need to invest in yourself, right? You need to invest in yourself first, and then the reward is going to definitely come. The best we are doing at the moment is to offer the first instrumental payment and the second payment option, right? This is to also help people that want to break down their payment pattern. Maybe you don't want to make the full payment once. You have the opportunity to break it down into this exact two, and then it will definitely help you get into the exact mentorship and internship that you desire. So fully, this is what Analytics is offering you at this exact price. I don't know if that makes sense to you, Daniel.
Good evening.
Okay, I think, Kenny, please, if you want to ask any question, make sure you use the raise hand icon. Use the raise hand icon, and I will call you up to speak. All right, let's not just unmute. Make sure you use the raise hand icon, and I'll call you up to speak. Okay, so next person, Kehinde. Hi, Kehinde. I've asked you to unmute. Please feel free to ask your question now.
Hi, thanks for the opportunity you are giving everyone to. Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, so thank you for the opportunity you are giving everyone to learn the cybersecurity and get started with it. My question is, do you help with 60 exam preparation?
All right, fantastic. Which of the exam preparations, please?
ISC Quest certified cybersecurity.
Okay, all right. So what we do is to fully to equip you with the skill and experience you need to transition. All right. So while trying to break into the cybersecurity part, there are relevant things that is very, very valuable. And first is skill and experience to get to the door. Once you are there, the next is now for you to start continuous learning. Our approach is fully for you to get the skill and the experience, which is also going to be relevant to respect to examinations. But we are not fully based on the certification aspect of things.
Okay, I understand. Okay, sorry to cut you. Sorry to cut you. What I'm saying is, I already did this course. Okay, I didn't do it with you guys because I just joined your group about, I think, last 2 weeks. I just saw the group on Instagram while I was scrolling. So I did this course. I did it 4K. I'm in Canada, so I did it 4K. So, but I went to write this ISC Square exam. That's for the certified cybersecurity. So I didn't make it. So I was looking for like some kind of training for the exam in particular. That's what I'm asking. And for security plus exam too.
All right, that's fine, Kende. So at the moment, we do not offer fully based certification training. We are going to equip you with skill and help you land a job, right? That's where we are fully positioned ourselves in. We are going to walk you from the beginner stage to the expert stage till you grasp everything pertaining to cybersecurity, and then equip you with the employability skills to help you land a job, right? So that's what we provide for people at the moment, Kende.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Kende. Okay, I think I have a couple of questions in the chat box. Please, if you have any question, feel free to drop it in the chat box or use the raise hand icon and we are going to pick it up from there. All right, let me have a quick look at the chat box. Please, can you repeat the statement you made again concerning discount and the amount from Anayo? Okay, Anayo, so the full payment amount is what you are currently seeing on my screen. So it is $750, £625, €730, and 1,125 Canadian dollars. But we have a 20% discount for the first 20 people to register for this exact program. And as I'm talking to you now, rest assured that 3 slots are already taken. Okay, so I always tell people to try to make use of the instrumental payment option. You can make payments of $400 to reserve your spot. And then 1 month into the program, you now make the subsequent full payment of $200. Same thing for the pounds, make payment of £350, get into the program, make £150 payment 1 month later. And for euros, make a 400 euros payment. Then 1 month into the class, make the order 180. For Canadian dollars, can make a 600 Canadian dollars payment. And then 1 month into the program, can now make the subsequent 300 Canadian dollars. I hope that makes sense to you, Anayo. I don't know. Another person is asking, I don't know, maybe it's my side. The screen is showing, okay, non-relevant comments. I think it's from your own side. Okay, so let me quickly check. Is the program not for those in Nigeria too? Hi, Bila. Like I mentioned, once you log in using the main stack option, it picks your geolocation and automatically gives you the equivalence of what you need to pay. So for people in Nigeria, at the moment, it's capped at ₦1,000,000. But I can tell you that if you convert $600 to Naira at the moment, it's over 1,000,000. But we've capped it at 1,000,000 for you so that we can make it possible for you to also get into this exact payment. I hope, and that also answers your question for Mma. So once you click on the main stack link, you're going to see the Naira equivalent and you're going to make payments using that. Right. Harry is asking, what is GRC? So GRC is simply governance, risk, and compliance, which basically there are people that make the policies and make sure that everything is going the way it's supposed to go. That the governance people inside cybersecurity, they make policies inside cybersecurity, and they make sure that everything is going according to the laid down policies. Okay, Adewale, you have a question. Please, Adewale, okay, I'm going to ask you to unmute so that you can comfortably ask your question, all right? Before I come back and take the other question. Okay, Adewale, I'm going to ask you to unmute. Hi, Adewale, I've asked you to unmute. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Yeah, I based in UK, and sometimes 3 or 6 months ago, I had attended a boot camp on cybersecurity for 3 months. But those 3 months, I could not, after the training, I can tell you, let me just generally, I don't have the practical experience. I only had the theoretical aspect. So I want to ask, hope this training of yours will not be the same. That's one. Secondly, this payment plan, if it's possible, because I think the payment plan, the money will be the problem to deter people from doing it. If there is a way you can make it, because in the UK, this payment plan, maybe you can pay 4 times. So people will be able to like divide their means, divide their income, and know how to bring out this money in order for them to be able to achieve. Though there is no amount that is much to achieve greatness in life. So, but it's also, when you have a family and other thing, you can't say because you are undergoing courses and your family should suffer for it. Though they will still like to affect them a little, but not to affect them fully. So that is what I want to ask, if there is a way you can make it like maybe 4 installments, 4 month installment payment. If that is done, I think I'll be in for the course. Thank you.
All right. Fantastic question, Adewale. All right. So what I'm going to do for you, I'm dropping an email in the chat box. All right. So what we always do for people that wants a structured payment is to just send an email to this exact details, finance@analytics.org. So I just dropped it. Have you seen it? finance@analytics.org. So what I need you to do is just make sure you send it tonight so that you can also be able to accommodate inside the discount. tell them how you want to structure your payments, and then they're going to inform you if it's possible or not, right? And for everyone that also have this same exact issue, just send an email to finance@analytics.org. You can say, hi, finance, my name is Chukwemeka, in your master class. I want to enroll for the cybersecurity class, and I want to structure my payment to be in 3 installmentals. Please kindly get back to me on if this is possible. Okay, so make sure you send that email tonight, because I know they also have a limit of the instrumental payments that they can have. Okay, do you understand, Adewale?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so send an email to them and tell them, okay, this is how I want to structure your payments, and they are going to tell you if it's possible or not. Okay, please make sure that you do it right now, so that they have. I'm sure that they have the possibility of accommodating you. Okay, and this also goes to everyone that has that same challenge. Please use that exact email, send to finance, and tell them this is how you want to structure your exact payments. Okay. Hi, Tope. I've asked you to unmute. Please go ahead.
How about the second question, please? You've not answered the second question.
All right. So what's the second question?
I said the second question is that hope it won't be like the people that just set up a boot camp and know the practical aspect. I'm talking about the practical aspect.
Yeah, I remember. So that's why I had to bring up my screen actually. So if you're looking at my screen, this is part of how you are going to be learning. All right. So this is one of our students in March cohorts. When they were learning for Cisco Packet Tracer, this is a project that they worked on. So each of those key learning areas that you have in class, they are all full hands-on experience, right? So it's not about coming to class and learn, okay, what is networking? What is cybersecurity? What are the pillars of cybersecurity? What is cryptography? No. For each of the key learning areas that you have, you will have a project-based approach to it that will make you be able to know these tools once you are done. For instance, once you are done training, you should know how to use VMware, you should know how to use Wireshark, you should know how to use Linux, you should know how to use Nmap, Nexus, and of course, Cisco Packet Tracer. So all these things are tools that you're going to be learning with respect to all these key learning areas that you have in your classes. I hope that makes sense to you now, Adewale.
Yeah, thank you. But what I'm saying is, I will hold you responsible for your for whatever you say.
100%.
So that's
hold me accountable. All right, hold me accountable.
Yeah. Thank you.
You are welcome, Adewale. Okay, hi. So I've asked you to unmute. Please go ahead.
Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah, I need clarification to a question. The answer you gave to Kende. Hello, can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear loud and clear. Please, can you come again with the question so that I'll be sure which of them?
Yeah, I said I need clarification with the answer you gave to Kende.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, the question is that you without the certification, can someone landed a job?
All right, fantastic. All right, so when it comes to the tech ecosystem, there are things that are very, very necessary, right? Were you here when Helen was speaking to us? That's the keynote speaker.
Yes, I was there.
All right, so like she rightly mentioned, we asked whether, with respect to getting a formal degree, getting a certification, and getting a skill and experience based, which one is very most important? And what she said is that skill and experience is really, really, really important, right? Because that is the first thing you need to tick off your box. All right. So once you are done getting the skill and the experience that pertains to cybersecurity, it should be enough to get you into entry-level roles. Right. So the next thing now is for you to now pursue higher level roles by now taking up the other aspect of learning, personal development, where you now accumulate certifications, right? And that's where you now keep climbing. But for you to land a role, you need the skill and the experience for you to be able to get that done. I don't know if that makes sense to you, Tobe.
Yeah, it makes sense. Thanks for the clarification.
All right. So Jessica, before we come to you, I'm going to take a question in the chat box and then we'll round off with you. Okay, so if you've not filled the attendance form, please fill the attendance form so that you can also have access to having a clarity course with us, where we're going to have a one-on-one session with you and explain everything to you personally. Okay, so let me take some of the questions in the chat box. Please, I'm 60 years old. Can I get a job once I finish with you? Fantastic, Dom. So if you heard when Victor was speaking, Victor said that His prof is 75, and at the moment he's pursuing AI in cybersecurity. Right. So one key thing I always tell people is that in the tech ecosystem, there is nothing like age, blockers. Right. It's a level playing field for everyone, so far as you learn everything that you need to learn. Okay, so you're going to be treated equally because it is your skill and your experience that will speak for you. And one amazing thing about having enough years in cybersecurity is that it simply means that you've experienced a lot of things. For instance, someone that experienced maybe a lot of different approaches or customer service that wants to come into cybersecurity has enough customer issues to help him know how to build a fully protected system. So that's where all those years of experience also becomes very, very relevant for you. But with respect to age, there's no age blocker in the exact tech ecosystem. All right. So please, I have a question. Jessica, I'll ask you to unmute soon. Sit from value. Okay.
Hi, good evening, Emeka.
Oh, Jessica. All right. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good evening, Emeka. My question is this: what's the duration for this course? And number two question is, will you still have sessions like this for business analytics and data analytics? Because I went through your site yesterday and I found different courses that you're going to start on the next month. So are you going to have sessions for people interested in business analytics and data analytics as well? So we'll know what we are supposed to be expecting from all this. First
Yes,
of all, the
fantastic.
duration of the course.
Right. So for cybersecurity, duration is 4 months. We're going to learn immersively in the classroom for 1 month and then have an internship with us for extra 1 month. And the class holds every Saturday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. On Sundays, you get a short video, watch me do it videos to prepare you for other sessions. Okay, but it's for 4 months, then the master in the classroom for 3 months, and then intern with us for 1 month. Then for other programs, we always have sessions like this for most of our courses. Yesterday, it was around business analytics and project management. All right, so today is about cybersecurity. Tomorrow, we'll have a full-fledged tech series that will talk about all these exact career paths. Right, so we always have sessions like this for different aspects of the program. Right, so what you do is just keep looking. Are you in any of our community, WhatsApp community?
Yes, I think the business analytics, data analytics, cybersecurity, and the travel. I can't remember the complete name now. 4 at the moment.
All right, so definitely for the session tomorrow, you're also going to get the link to it. So you can also join and also hear what we have to say about the other programs that we offer. Right? Does that answer your question, Jessica?
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Ayomide, I don't know if you are still here. Payment methods such as using Lambda. I don't know the currency that is Lambda. Ayomide, are you there? Please, you can use the raise hand icon and I'll ask you to speak. All right, Ayomide. All right, please, where are you joining us from?
I'm joining from the UK. Sorry, I've been here, man.
All right, please go ahead. Yeah, so if you're in UK, you can comfortably make payments using the pounds option. All right, you can make payments.
Well, I think what I was trying to say about that Lana is in respect to the man that requested for that he said something about spreading the payments, and I think you've answered that question. You said that okay, we can message the finance team and tell them how we want to pay. And what Lana does is that Lana gives room to like pay instrumentally. So I was asking if your platform can maybe has integrated Lana into the payment the payment portal or on. I was just it's like a suggestion or something.
Okay, yeah, I understand you clearly. So for us, all right, for us, just simply message the finance team and they'll give you the response whether the instrumental payment is available for that exact time. Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. So I think I've done justice to the question. I think I've done justice to all the question. I've done justice to all the question. Okay, can I join both classes morning and evening? So I don't know, we can't join both classes because it's still the same thing that you are learning. So morning is for people that is in that exact time zone, while evening is for people that is in that exact time zone. Can we get the slide? Yes, please make sure that you fill the attendance form, and we're going to share this slide with you. All right, so thank you so much, everyone that have been with us till this very moment. It's been a fantastic session with each and every one of you. And like I always tell people, the best time to get into the tech ecosystem is yesterday. The next best time is today. And we are providing you the opportunity to make an instant impact. If you are looking to transition into tech in 2024, the best time to start is now, because the 4 months frame ends by December, which means if you by the if January detail you said, oh, I want to be a tech person, I want to be a tech pro, a tech sis, for you to make that happen, you need to join the analytics today, so that within the next 4 months, you will come out fully refined by December as the cybersecurity personnel. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And I can't wait to see each and every one of you in the class come 7th September. Thank you once more, and cheers and bye for now. See you guys some other time. Bye.